4번 시드 프로토스 도재욱.
이번 시즌은 좀 더 높은 시드 받아보도록 하겠습니다. 저도 지금 후보를 추려봤는데 투테란 투저그입니다. 한 명은 무조건 남더라고요. 저그들이 안 남을 것 같아서 일단 테란 중에 한 명 뽑을 것 같아요.
아 이거 오늘 3찬이 다 날아갔어요.
잔반 처리반 느낌이더라고요. 그래서 약간 남는 걸로 한 가지 메뉴가 남아있더라고요.
아 좀 잘 바르는 거 이런 거 좀 괜찮아 하세요?
뼈저러 먹어야죠.
맞아요.
저를 뽑으시면은 상대하기 까다로운 선수를 무조건 뽑겠습니다.
오?
마음대로 하세요.
마음대로 하라는데요?
조재욱 선수가 이제 푸푸전에서 약한 사람이 있더라고요. 그 선수를 뽑으려고 해요.
오! 다른 선수들 중에서 박상현.
마이크 내려놔. 그냥
살려야 돼요?
안 뽑아.
한번 해보세요.
가치도 없대요.
그 혹시 불기 치킨이라고 있는데 그 치킨은 어떠세요?
불규치킨 너무 사이즈가 많아요. 자기만 안 돼요.
도류와
네.
저
어디예요?
어디까지?
예.
아!
확보했습니다.
예측 무조건 했습니다.
그 말씀하신 대로 그냥 판을 좀 엎어버리면서 죽음의 조를 완전히 만들고
그러면은 정영재 선수가 너무 좋게 될 것 같아가지고 그러고 싶지가 않아졌어요.
왜
남의 조에 신경을 써요, 근데?
그러니까요.
허세 좀 잠깐 물어봤고 실을 즉시했습니다.
조기석 선수는 어떤 종족을 좀 생각하고 계세요?
저그 생각합니다.
불기치킨?
아 요즘 치킨 맛있죠. 예.
조기석 선수는 식단 관리 철저히 하는 선수잖아요.
아 예 그렇죠. 김정우 선수는 제 머릿속에 없었어요.
없었어요.
두 분 다 원할 것 같은데 저도 좋습니다.
우와! 김성대 선수 오케이 했고 선택을 좀 해야 되는데
네네.
또 고민되거나 좀 물어보고 싶은 선수 없으세요?
아니요 없어요.
아니 없어요. 아니 오늘은 너무 다 완전히
예.
반찬 찍고 나왔어.
그렇습니다. 오늘은 뭔가 확실해요. 저 식단대로 가고 있습니다.
하나씩 가져가고 있습니다.
김성대.
이야!
제가 최근에 재혁이 형한테 많이 졌는데 복수도 하고 기석이는 제가 알기로 저한테 많이 ASL에서 혼났거든요. 같이 혼내도록 하겠습니다.
이야!
성대한테 지고 나서 나락을 갔거든요. 성대 이기고 극락 가겠습니다.
이 정도일 줄 몰랐어요.
우와!
아, 뭔가 제 시나리오 되고 있는 거죠. 좋긴 해.
이거 너무 잘 되고 있어요 지금요.
아직까지는.
이제 남은 선수가 자 김지성과 김태경입니다.
태경.
우와!
김태경입니다.
D조는 자동으로 결정이 되죠.
김지성 선수가
네.
스스로 이제 D조에다가 이름을 붙이고 갑니다.
자 이렇게 되면은 D그룹 쪽으로 가게 된 선수인 김지성 선수고요.
항상 ASL에서 느낀 건데 D조가 제일 빡센 것 같아요.
지명은 마무리는 됐습니다.
우승자의 고란으로 그룹 A를 3적으로 만들겠다 이런.
근데 원래 이제 영자한테 바꾸지 말라고 했는데 사실 크게 상관없을 것 같아서 일단 토스가 3명밖에 없어서 토스전을 붙이기는 싫어요 저도.
야 그룹 B 아닌 B 아닙니까?
저도 토스인데.
나 토스다.
토스면
제가 저번 시즌에 영재 형을 그 조를 옮겨줬었거든요.
지금 정말 최악의 조, 역사상 가장 무서운 조.
그 덕에 올라가서 우승까지 갈 수 있었는데 이 조 지금 마음에 드니까 좀 안 건드려줬으면 좋겠어요.
자 최종 우승자의 권한 변현재 떼고 김정우.
끝나고 술 한잔 하기로 했는데 만약에 뭐 현재랑 성대랑 바꿨으면은 물리치료 해가지고 개막전 출전 못 지키게 하려고 했거든요.
선배거든요, 제 때. 마지막 시즌 댄스 이벤트 챙겨줘서 너무 고맙고 잘해보도록 하겠습니다.
저 마음에 들고
되게 만족한 결과가 나온 것 같고 좋은 경기 하겠습니다.
Hello everyone, welcome to ASL Season 16 Ro.16 Group D match, proudly brought to you by Hot 6 Energy Drink. In yesterday's round of 16 Group C match, the outcome was extremely hard to predict and we got to see a lot of fierce competition in the group. At the end of the day, it was the two Zergs, Soulkey and Hero, making it to round of 8. And the other two empty slots in the round of 8 will be filled by the two players who come out victorious today. We will now talk to the Group D players before we commence the match. Hello everyone, nice to meet you all. Let's first talk to Best, the seeded player of this group. Hello Best. So far, the only Protoss survivor in the round of 8 is Mini. And today you also want to join him as the second Prowess player in the round of 8, right? How are you feeling today? Well, I'd say so-so. Not good, not bad. But this group being a 2-Terran group, I think should give you an edge, right? I mean, when it comes to offline tournaments, I tend to struggle against Terrans, so that's slightly worrying, but the group itself is not that bad for me. I'm Best, you're a regular attendee in ASL with consistent performance. You'll want to get yourself another seed for next season, right? How has practice been? Well, today I did a lot of image training. And like you said, yes, I do want to get another seed heading into the next season because, you know, you have it so easy by having a seed in ASL. Alright, now let's talk to Sharp, who is Best's first opponent. Hello, Sharp. It's been quite a while since you last competed in the round of 16. How does it feel to be getting ready for a round of 16 match after 5 seasons? Well, since it's my first round of 16 match in a long time, I do feel nervous right now, but I think it will be fun. I mean, I cannot stress enough how important the first match is, and I'm sure you know what I mean by that. Back in ASL Season 11, you and Best played against each other in the final match in the round of 16, and at the time, Best was the winner. It's been a long time since that happened, but you would still want to avoid playing against Best in the final match today, right? Yes, definitely. I clearly remember that match. I think I've been losing to him ever since. So that's when things started going downhill for you, I see. Then on the other hand, on a positive note, you could bounce back after taking out Best today, right? Oh yeah, definitely. Let's now talk to Action. Hello, Action. Action, your ZVT record in ASL is truly phenomenal. And your first opponent today is also Royal, a Terran player. What does it feel like going up against him? You've taken him down before. Well, that's true, but he possesses a very unorthodox playstyle among all Terran players, and nevertheless I prepared well for today. I think Action really means it when he says he's confident, because you defeated Light in the round of 24 to make it to the round of 16. Did you get a confidence boost in ZVT after that match? Not really. It's more like offline tournaments being different compared to online matches. I can play with more confidence. Alright then. Lastly, let's talk to Royal. Hello, Royal. In the group nomination, you were the last player to be picked, and hence you're here today as a Group D member. How does it feel? At first I was really satisfied with how this group was made, so I practiced a lot, but it was harder than I thought. I need to play against all 3 races, so coming up with builds was extremely hard. I really need to be lucky today. Even before the interview, you were putting on a facial expression as if you had a migraine. In Season 14, you became the ASL champion, and in Season 15, you unfortunately got eliminated in the round of 16. So you know very well how important this round of 16 match is. Ironically, you have to go up against Action, who was the one that eliminated you back then in the first match. So I guess you're pretty stressed about the first match, yeah? I mean, at first I was actually happy about playing against him first, but these days Action hasn't been streaming at all. So I'm really frustrated at the moment due to the lack of information. So although I'm having a headache right now because of this, I'll still try my best today. I mean, having the former ASL championship experience under your belt, I'm sure you'll be able to play with confidence. And now we have the fans' questions. First one is for Royal. Last season, ASL Season 15, you were in a 3-0 group, but this time, like you said, the group has all 3 races. So how is preparation different between the 2 groups? So it's gonna be hard to find scrim partners for all 3 races, right? That's right. Yeah, I feel sorry whenever I have to request for practice to my partners. But when I have to play against 3 Zergs, it's really hard to come up with builds. It's hard to strategize. So, you know, in terms of builds, I find the group with 3 races better.
준비에 대한 완성도는 김지성 선수 본인이
Then,
몇 퍼센트 정도
how perfect do you think is your
느껴지시나요?
how perfect do you think your preparation is right now?
솔직히 오늘 저는 그냥 자연빵으로
I mean,
할
today I'm just gonna improvise.
몸이 움직이는
Are you just gonna play impromptu? Yeah, that's right.
움직이겠다. 좋습니다.
Alright
이번
then.
질문은 김성대 선수께
This one's for action.
날카로운 질문일 수도 있습니다. 김성대 선수는 온라인보다
You tend to put on a better performance in offline matches than online matches. And most of the time, players get nervous in offline tournaments. What do you think is the reason behind your offline strengths?
그냥 이제 경기에 임할 때
Well, you know, my mindset heading into every game, you know, regardless of what mindset I have, on days I win, on days I lose. So, you know, I always try to keep an optimistic mindset going into every game. And after that happened, I've been winning a lot more games than before. So, you know, having a positive mindset is definitely the key. Alright, this one's for Sharp. In Season 7, you came out as the winner. In Seasons 9 and 11, Best came out as the winner. You guys tend to face off against each other a lot in the round of 16. What kind of mindset do you have right now going up against a player that's ahead of you in head-to-head record?
일단은 저에
Well,
대해
first off, he
너무
knows
잘
me
알고
inside out,
있는 형이어가지고
so that's a little concerning.
좀 마음이 걸리긴 하는데 좀 오히려 더.
But I've always been relaxed going up against Best. How about I ask the same question to Best? So you're ahead in the head-to-head record, you know him really well, so what do you think?
제가 구이맘이라고.
I mean, I really like Sharp as a friend, and I tune into his stream frequently.
좀 그래서
Maybe that's why I know him so well. Alright, last question is for Best. There is a phrase that always follows you wherever you go. This season is different, but you really did prove to everyone by earning a seat last season. This season, you actually have an edge as you got 2 Terrans in your group. What expectations have you set for yourself for this season?
저는 뭐
Well, as for me, you know, whether I go to the final match, whether my form is bad or good, I just want to survive in this season of ASL. That way, I can make it further in this season of ASL. Alright, that's all the time we have for the pre-match interview. Before we wrap this up, let's hear the players' resolutions. Best, you first. I mean, being a seeded player this season, I'm just getting, I just really want another seed for next season. Alright, then action.
열심히 그냥 준비하다 보니까 떨어지기에는 너무
So I practiced really hard, I put my heart and soul into it, so I'm not gonna try to lose today. Sharp.
오랜만에 올라온 만큼 후회 없이.
I'm playing a round of 16 match in a long time. I'll try to leave no regrets. And last of all, Royal.
저도 개인적으로 2회 우승이라는 타이틀에 대한 욕심이
Personally, I'm quite ambitious for the second 2-time ASL champion, so I'll try to make that true. Alright, thank you guys for your time. You are currently watching the Group D match of ASL Season 16 Round of 16. We have the Group D match coming up momentarily, so please tune in and we'll find out who the last 2 players joining the Round of 8 are.
What's up, everybody? Today we conclude the round of 16. We're doing Group D. It's been a crazy ASL, and I'm very excited to see who's going to be our final 2 players moving on into the round of 8.
Yeah, and not just that, don't forget at the very end of the show, we are going to have the draw for the round of 8, and that is going to be awesome. I'm always like really excited on the last day of the round of 16 because to see, you know, who's actually going to be playing who. Because, I mean, you have to be agreeing with me here. Round of 8 is like nerd chills. It's the best part of the tournament. You get to see these insane matchups. You get to start looking at the bracket and saying, oh my god, like we could get this match. Here's some possible finals we could be looking at. Here's what the round of 4 could be. Man, it's so exciting.
You're completely right. It's fun to have the groups, and I think it's also fair to have the groups. That's really where you get to not get boned on a map or a matchup or anything like that. You get to be, you know, laid out with the rest of your peers and try to fight for survival. But I agree with you, Tastosis. Round of 8 is for me when ASL really starts up. this group that we've got here, Group D, it's a crazy one. Best, Sharp, Action, and Royal. You know, I think it's weird to say. I feel like Sharp may be the weakest link in this group.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot about how much StarCraft has changed over the last 4 years, because for a while he was basically the second best or third best Terran in the world.
Yeah, and he's still legit super, super good, but I have to agree with you. Just taking a quick look at who has qualified so far, you can see 3 of our Zergs have made it through, 2 of our Terrans, and Mini, our only Protoss. But you know what? If Best gets through, I think that it's a great set of players, you know? Like, that's the one thing. It makes the round of 8 perfect if Best gets through.
We do get pretty lucky pretty often with the round of 8, no matter what the layout is. A lot of times we get that golden ratio. I do think it is realistic. Best doesn't make it. Although fingers crossed that he does, but this group is very, very tough. I think Sharp will have a difficult time no matter what, but we've had a lot of upsets. It's kind of been the big theme here of the ASL Season 16 is that you really never know what to expect. Anything that seems obvious can, you know, the rug can be pulled right out from under you. Royal may be the scariest Terran that we have right now. And even with Light being such a fixture in the past years, it does seem like we're seeing this whole new rise of Terrans like Rush, like Royal, like JYJ that are looking so good. Best is a player that we have for a long time been saying should be winning an ASL. He does, while he looks comfortable and he's charismatic on camera, he doesn't seem to play as well as he does in these online cups. And then finally, you've got Action. And Action has just been a mainstay in the ASL. He's always in the round of 8. He's somebody we've also been saying, man, it seems like this guy should be taking an ASL soon. He's on the ladder grinding every day. And I think he's a real threat to anybody.
Yeah, he is. He's always been known as one of the hardest workers in all of Korea, which is really saying something. You know, we'll talk more about him when we get to him. But Best, you know, our last Protoss here playing tonight. You know, he's unbelievably good, and yeah, he is one of the guys on the short list of like this guy really should have an ASL. But it does seem like he kind of, I don't know. He's been. It seems like he's been in that round of 8, round of 4 more lately, but still it doesn't feel like he's playing up to how good he actually is, and I'm hoping he can do that here tonight. But this is going to be a hard first match for him. This is a best of 1 going up against Sharp, and Sharp plays a more aggressive, harass-oriented style than probably any other Terran in this matchup. Like he is a Vulture King. And if you, there is, especially in a best of 1, like it's really volatile, I think, to play against Sharp.
Yeah, he's a scary guy to go against. I feel like if Sharp was a unit, he'd be a dropship. But
Tasteless.
What's up?
Listen, I talk about this a lot, how Sharp is kind of my spirit animal as far as Terran players. He's like my guilty pleasure. I watch like all of his replays and stuff. He chose Terran Theme 1 as his music.
It's a man after your heart right there.
Dude. Is he not the coolest fucking player in the whole world? Like, seriously, he chose Terran Theme 1. That's what I mean, that's some taste for you right there. I thought the guy that chose Black Parade yesterday, I was like, this is the greatest opening music ever, but actually it's Sharp. Amazing.
Yeah, man. Oh, nice. We got a Tastosis side. By the way, those 2 guys in the front, I met them at Castor Muse's wedding. Congratulations to Castor Muse.
Nice.
He just got married. Yeah. I should send you the photos on the commercial break, Artosis. It was a very nice wedding. But yeah, I mean, it's good to see the stadium over in Jamshil packed. The fans are hyped, Korean and foreign. And this is going to be a great day of games. I think this is an especially fun group because there's a lot of different ways that it could pan out. You know, some groups we either have the crazy upset or it's par for the course. Look at this guy's drawn a beard on. I didn't even notice this until now. You can see he drew it on. He drew it on himself because he's completely missed any part he couldn't see as well. So this is clearly some joke that I don't know. This must be something happening in Korea with baseball. I don't know what's going on, but it is funny. It's clearly a bit they're doing too.
Yeah. Great audience here today.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. It's a fantastic group. This is like maybe the most balanced group that we have here. I don't know if people want to call it a group of death, but it's like an insane group. All 4 players can get out. yeah, maybe Sharp is like just slightly behind the curve of everyone else. But let's get into that first game, Tastosis. It's time.
Let's do it. All right, in the bottom right, in the yellow, we have Best, and in the bottom left, in the green, we have Sharp. We do mention this about 2 times in every recording, but we're just going to say it right at the start here. If you want to support our broadcasts and our English production here for the ASL, please go to patreon.com/ASL English. Sign up for a year. We really, really appreciate it. You get access to the Secret Tastosis podcast, where we talk recently about how Tastosis' internet is falling apart, which is stressful because he's a Twitch streamer. And yeah, I mean, it means the world to us that we can keep the history of this game alive. It's been a quarter of a century, man. How crazy is that?
Yeah, no, it's and as long as my internet improves, man, I'll do this for the rest of my life. That's the deciding factor. But thank you guys so much. And do check out that, once again, at patreon.com/ASL English.
And I want to just, while you say that we're talking about your bad internet, this probably won't happen, but just in case it does, there is somebody that's supposed to come over and set up a second internet at Tastosis' house. It's not supposed to happen during this recording, but in my own experience of doing this kind of stuff, I've had people come like 2 hours late or 3 hours early or whenever they're open. Yeah. So that might happen here. We'll see. I hope it doesn't happen while we're doing this.
I think we'll be all right. I expect them to be late, but maybe because I'm working, they'll be early. Anyways, we're on retro, and it looks like Sharp here with that barracks that close to the ramp. Yeah, okay. Actually, he is going to get the gas. I was wondering about that. But yeah, Best is going to go ahead and scout him first. It looks like pretty standard openers on both sides. Best already has his gas, so not super quick to Zealots. And then, you know, Sharp is getting his gas, so it's going to be like a factory expansion. Excited to see, like, how these guys want to end up opening, because, again, Sharp has, like, a huge range of builds in this match. I already know that Best is going to, like, get speed shuttles and, like, make a lot of gateway units and try to shove them through small choke points to win, but as far as Sharp goes, man, like, he really has so many different builds that he does in this matchup.
Yeah, he is somebody who likes to... He's kind of the opposite of the way I think about a lot of really solid Terrans. A lot of the very, very best Terrans, my experience is that they're like an iron fortress that I can only stay outside of. Mm-hmm. And if I get too close, you know, they bite my head off. But Sharp is a very interactive player. He likes to engage a lot. He likes to take fights. Yes. He likes to occasionally take risks. He has a lot of really cool tactical approaches in the middle of the map.
Yeah.
And he's a lot of fun to follow, especially if you like action-packed games. The problem is that occasionally he'll just get judo flipped by a really good Protoss player.
Absolutely. Like, I couldn't possibly describe him better than you have here. It's like, that's exactly it. Especially that what is it, adjective of interactive, because that's really how he plays, right? Like, he can and will do upgrade Terrans sometimes too. Like, he has the full range in there. But yeah, he wants to mix it up. He wants there to be engagements, and he's really good once he starts getting tempo going. And he's a very fast Terran too. This guy plays at like 350 all game, APM, right? So that's like he's blazing the entire time. So just such a fun Terran to watch for sure.
So far, the scouting SCVs are being chased out pretty well. The Marines have pushed the probe away. It looks like this is going to be really about as standard of an opener as you can have on both sides. Oh, hold on. He stopped mining gas entirely. I feel like that's not normal.
He'll get him back on there in a second. This is just like a slight optimization that he does.
Okay.
But yeah,
you're right.
Pops them all off. Because it's like when you do a factory expand, and people are still actually improving this build a little bit, right? Like you have to cut SCVs for just a little bit, where you go, it's like you go 25 command center, and then you need to get the depot, you need to get the bunker, like right afterwards.
Right.
While you're getting your add-on. So it's like you do need a lot of minerals at that point. But look at this. He actually slips a Vulture by, and that's huge, man. Like, he should get, like, a couple probes probably before this dies. Yeah, nice blocking there from Best. Well, only ends up getting one, so it's a good block. But just as soon as you see the double gate Robo, like, for instance, you don't need an engineering bay quickly.
Right.
You can go armory, you could go second factory, and he's going to go ahead and get that second factory super, super fast here. Which, dude, that's sharp. That's sharp. A lot of people would look at that and say, ooh, I can do upgrade Terran, not worry about anything. Let's get the armory. And he's like, nah, dude, I want that second factory. I want to be able to get out on the map and do something.
Yeah, and, you know, just seeing the Robo is always a signal there's nothing crazy happening yet. There's not a DT rush. There's not carriers right away. Both of those things can happen and do happen in pro matches. And so you just know you basically have to prepare for them to be taken at third base and watch when and where that will happen. The map is retro. We've talked about it a lot, but I think we're going to probably be mentioning it almost every game we cast on, especially for PvT. There's actually not a lot of bases on this map. There's 4 starting locations. Each starting location looks like it gets 3 spots. So your main, your natural, and then there's a third base that's at 12, 6, 3, or 9, depending on your spawn. So it's pretty hard for Terran to ever get a 5th base, if not impossible. It's pretty hard for Terran to even get a 4th base. Protoss only has, one main they can try to expand into, unless you want to try to expand in that. Like in these positions, if Best were to take 6 o'clock, that's pretty ambitious. There are ways to play where you can kind of do that, but maybe not the best way to play. And maps like this are less common in professional matches, but both Tastosis and I kind of find them really interesting because it just speeds the game up to its inevitable conclusion, which makes a lot of the early and mid-game decisions for where to expand and what to do. Ooh, he hid that Vulture. Hold on.
Yeah, I love it. Love to see it. And in fact, awesome move. And look at that. Out. He doesn't even block it with the Dragoon. That's fantastic. Dude, he was going to make the Nexus, so that literally slows down your third base by, let's say minimum 30 seconds. An amazing move. Little tactics like this, Sharp is always doing them. So, very good move. But yeah, a map like Retro, the one thing I think about on this map a lot is you're not going to get a lot of maxed armies. It's it's going to be a bit scrappier, which might actually play well for Sharp, honestly, right? If Best can't just keep remaxing because it's hard to get 6 bases or 7 bases, that's probably going to do well for Sharp, who wants to battle. Now, it looks like Sharp has gone into 3 factories at this point. He has some missile turrets up in some pretty good locations here so far. Throws some mines down. Dude, this is I love this. This is so Sharp right now. And I believe he does have an armory in the bottom left, spinning and everything. We see him getting the Starport. So this is kind of like an upgrade Terran play from him, maybe a little bit more unit heavy, and he looks very solid right now. Not really getting as aggressive as we were selling him on a bit earlier.
With the Reaver play being so common, it's really standard to leave, besides the siege tank at the ramp, most of your army in your main base for the Terran, so that if that drop does come in, and by the way, Protosses are basically suiciding the shuttle in to get kills with the Reaver. So if you can just flatten that and deny any kills, it's really big. Oh, and hold on, I think we're about to see shuttle go in. Is that a shuttle down there? I'm sorry, I meant Best go, and I just called him shuttle. Best shuttle, sorry.
This is a funny thing when they spawn on the bottom. It's actually really hard to see some of the stuff going on. We haven't actually seen an armory, but obviously there's Goliaths here, and obviously by this point in the game, you're always going to have an armory. So, not exactly sure. It looks like an observer sees where this army is. The shuttle does pull away, and Sharp just starts his 3rd command center at a very, very comfortable time.
So Protoss has to try to push up and get control of the upper right spawn. Notice how in this moment Sharp is maneuvering around. He's looking for any opening where he can come in and punish. And now these 3 Dragoons, they're going to kill off the last Vulture. and we should see that probe come up. But we may see the Vultures try to come in and intercept that probe. I mean, this is exactly what Sharp's so good at. We already saw him do it once at the third, where Best was floating 800 minerals because a Nexus was supposed to be planted. And there it is. He's not going to take the fourth base up in the main just yet. It seems like he just wants to try to keep the position a little bit tight.
Yeah.
And I think there is a lot of merit to that. I know that many people would think, in theory, it's always better to take the main, and I sort of see that, but I think against Sharp on this map, it's a fair play.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll actually take that as well. If Terran slows you down at all, this is something I've noticed. If Terran slows down because of a Vulture or whatever, or maybe kills the first probe, you'll take that because it's quicker to take as well. Like, you'll just switch your plan and be like, all right, screw it. Let's just get... I need the Nexus. It's more important to get the Nexus than anything else.
Getting the Observer up there.
That probe.
Yeah, getting the Observer up there and trying to make the Nexus in all the places the Vultures can hide in the main. Sometimes it's better to just take the natural. It's like, just put it down, start it. Well, we're going to have a fifth base here eventually anyways. It's more important to kind of get each sequence out. Oh! Nice shot there.
Excellent targeting. Excellent targeting. If he had targeted the Vultures, these Reavers would already be gone. that would have actually been it. Like, he had, you know, you only need the 3 volleys there from the Goliaths he had, and he would have gotten those off. So that was superb, and that'll actually slow Sharp down a lot. That's super annoying to deal with.
And this is a great play to just basically slow down anything that... Oh, man, another big Reaver hit. Yeah, anything to slow down this command center landing and SCV's mining is going to be big. He picks up. Now, you got to be careful. Once Goliaths get that range upgrade, you really have no business being near the Terran at all. A tank and a Vulture drop come down. And this is going to be a lot of kills over here. It looks like he could easily, hit that little clump to the right where the probes collect up there. And not bad. He takes out the dropship. The Reavers have been scooted back one by one. And you can really see that Terran is having to do a lot of heavy lifting to just get the third base functional.
Yeah, I get real Fighting Spirit vibes from this moment. Very common tactic on maps like this. And you know what? Best is going to dive on top of him. This is excellent for Best. Like, he is slowing this so much, and he's lost almost nothing slowing it as well. Like, maybe he's going to end up sacrificing a shuttle here and the sellouts a few moons. But he's slowing it down so much that the third base is on fire. It's so hard to push up here. And Sharp's in trouble. Like, this is bad news.
Best is always able to break these really, really crazy positions. I just feel like no one would ever try but him, and then he does it. Like, he broke up to the top. He's killed off everything that's there. The command center's almost dead, and now he's going to break the position below it. Like, this is wild, man.
E has pushed him back so far. Look at Sharp's supply drop. And this was basically an upgrade Terran game from Sharp as well. Like, he's got a good amount of factories. His 2-1 is on the way. But you have to get that third down cleanly. And we've already passed the window that he needed it. Like, he needed to already be mining for like a minute on that base. And he hasn't been able to do that. And so Best is starting to run away with this game. Best can easily take the top right. I want to see him get into Psystorm. And he's dominating. Look at this. Look at the army sitting up there and how difficult that is to push through.
And the play from Sharp is to basically come out with his Vultures and try to kill off some workers. This isn't bad at all. I like the fact that Best tries to pull fully away. And he really hasn't lost when he probes at all. The Vultures are going to come back over here into the back, but this will be cleaned up. And the truth is, I understand the ideas behind it. I don't know if it really helped him, though. I mean, he doesn't have a third up yet still. And when Protoss is on 4 base and Terran's on 2, things are going to get out of control very, very quickly. That's a lot of money.
You're so right. Like, you know, if he had his third base mining, he does that move, we're like, ooh, that's a really good move. But here it's like, okay, well, you're spending Vultures, but none of this matters that much. I guess delaying the 5th base is probably the most powerful thing those Vultures are doing. But you can see those mineral patches getting very, very light. And this is only going to get harder for Sharp. You know, there's High Templars out now, so we're going to start having Psystorms and everything. Look at the Reaver control. It's still there. 8 kills on that thing. He did finally kill one of them, but now that third command center is finally healthy again, and Sharp is just like, it feels like he's trapped. Now, he has enough supply. 150 against 181, you're not scared of Protoss, but trying to go up this ramp, if those are High Templars in that shuttle, it's going to be a real pain. Oh, he's going to go. It is High Templars, but they're going for the natural.
This is going to be so bad. If he doesn't move the SCVs like immediately, they're all dead. Oh my God, that's got to be maybe 45% of the workers killed there.
That was at least 20 SCVs on. At least.
Wow.
That's painful. And look at this. Best is playing very well, Tasteless. Not only does he do that storm drop, he evacuated all the units from that third base. He knew that it was time where Sharp was going to be able to push up. Why waste anything? He pulls out. I'm actually getting chills right now. I'm like getting some shivers, and it's not because it's cold, because Best is playing like some monster PvT.
Yeah, there's so much to say about this. The fact that the Protoss kept the Terran on 2 bases for so much longer and then storm dropped right before the third base could be claimed. I mean, that's how you get the optimal amount of damage with your Templars. Is that, like, if a Terran, let's say a Terran's on 5 bases, well, the SCVs, there can't be that many locations, or, I mean, there's more locations they can be in. When they're on 2 bases, you know, the saturation is going to be so high. And Terran make a lot of SCVs in this matchup, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want mid-60s in this matchup. So, you know, that's... It hurts. But, you know, he is running out of some mineral patches, so it's not, like, completely the end of the world for Sharp. And because he lost, like, 20 SCVs, if you look at the supply, his army is a lot better than you might think looking at these supplies right now, because it's a higher percentage of actual units. Now, 4 speed shuttles coming. What in the world? Look at this. Dropping a ton of Zealots into the main base. If Sharp pulls everything together, like, he will easily block this attack at the front. Oh my God, a Vulture counterattack here. There is 1 cannon slowing him down. But honestly, I don't think that this attack from Best was very good at all.
I think the idea was pretty good, but and there's actually a lot more units down inside the main, like the more central. Yeah, here we go, over here. So it's a lot, and you know, weirdly with the Vulture counterattack, I guess there's not that many Vultures to fight this and defend. He's going to take out the armories. You know, I'm kind of stunned with how much damage is being dealt with the Vultures now. I mean, this is a lot of probes. It's not important as far as which expansions are, but these are still workers that would have been transferred on later here. I think if there was one moment that Sharp would start to come back, it would be off the back of this.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I didn't like that mass Zealot bomb. I've seen that more recently, where it's just they're unloading tons of Zealots, but, like, it doesn't... Zealots are easy to clean up, right? It's like the Reavers and stuff that are not. And he's going to pick off a lot of probes here as well. Sharp's, like, I called him the Vulture King, man. You can see it. His Vultures are absolutely everywhere. You give him an inch and he takes a mile. And now suddenly he's moving out to the center. And obviously he killed a lot of probes. So even though it says 168, it's still a pretty strong army here for Best. But look at the positioning that Sharp is taking. He needs to spread, though. There's a lot of Psy Storm awaiting him.
Yeah, if Sharp is too aggressive, a couple blanketed Psy Storms could just wipe this out. But he's going to go for it. There are 3 Templars and probably some... Oh my God, you know, this bottleneck area is so punishing. I wonder if there's any merit to Protoss trying to run out and go through 6 o'clock and then counterattack here.
Oh, man. Well, right now, Sharp is getting into this unbelievable position. 2 Speed Shells going to come out and bomb here. He does have Psy Storms. He gets no Psy Storms off. He had 2 full energy High Templars and did not get Psy Storms off. I'm not exactly clear if he didn't have enough tanking or Sharp targeted those super fast, but I saw them start. I saw them start the animation for storming, and it just didn't come out. And now Sharp is going to win the game.
Vest just had this look of disgust on his face. He's processed it all, and he knows this is over. This game that he had won, he made one mistake, and it went completely upside down. He's still going to try. You know, one issue as well, there's not enough gateways in the top right to create enough of a force that can contest whatever is going to come down. So, I mean, the third's going to fall, and the top right is going to be the next target, and there's just not that much there. It's a huge drop. I wasn't ready for this. But I just don't think that there's enough material on the board right now for Best.
Well, anything that's pure Zealot drops, like, that's the easiest thing to clear up. Because Vultures are the fastest unit in the game, and they wreck Zealots if they're alone. So I feel like these are very wasteful drops. That's how Sharp came back, was that weird attack where it's like 4 Speed Shuttles of Zealots, and then he attacks with his main army through a choke. And, you know, you can't be doing stuff like that. I feel like if he had continued to play the game how he was playing it and just waited to bust anything that came out, he'd be in a huge advantage now. But I've seen Best waste a lot of units at this point, and Sharp is punishing.
This is an ugly ending to a game here. You know, Retro doesn't have that many bases, so it's very tough to recover. I like what Best is trying to do, and I do want to point out, by the way, it's 108 to 105. There's barely any SCVs for Terran. I don't know how many probes there really are for Protoss, but the fact that he's gone mass shuttles, maybe there is a hope. Maybe there is a way that he could do this. Maybe we called it too soon. I mean, I think it was pretty impossible, but with 5 speed shuttles. Where are his Dragoons, by the way? Does Best just not have any gas mining? I guess his gas just isn't moving right now.
Yeah, well, he didn't take any gases in the top right, so yeah. He lost all of his probes in his main base, so he literally has nothing mining gas right now.
So
0. So he can only make Zealots.
Yeah, so the issue here is that he's basically in some type of mental paralysis.
Yeah.
He just started a gas, but I mean, how many games do you ever see where the gas is just literally not moving? It's also not moving for Sharp, which is funny, but that's not as important because I think he has no SCVs, and so he has at least 13. Yeah, it's barely going up, but he needs to get minerals, whereas Best badly needs to get gas.
Yeah. Well, really, in a game like this, like Vultures are just completely the unit you want anyways. And look at this, he takes that center base. Terran does take this base really often in this matchup on this map. It's a great location for them. And look at this, the shuttle's flying in. Oh God, I don't know if this is gonna work out. Drops on top of some mines here, does lose a single shuttle, might lose a little bit more. Great defense matrix. And Best hitting another location with these Zealots, getting on top of some of these tanks. Okay, this is a good move here.
Keep in mind that every tank that's killed off, it's very permanent in the game. You know, all the gas basically goes into tanks and just a few other things here. The issue is, look, Best just lurched forward in his chair. I think he's in disbelief at the number of units that Sharp actually has here. I think he keeps thinking he's outpositioned him when, in fact, Sharp is just gobbling up every attack. Best does shake free. Oh, that's it. GG. He taps out. Wow, a really frustrating game there. And you know Sharp's got to be happy with that. That was pure tenacity.
Yeah, he stayed in it. He gave himself an opportunity to capitalize upon a mistake. And Best really, I honestly, if you look back before he did the Zealot bomb into the main and the attack through the choke, like that's where suddenly, like, he did 0 damage, lost a ton of supply, and then Sharp's Vultures counterattacked and killed so many probes because Best's entire army was across the map. I think if he had sat in a more containing posture, if he had waited for Sharp to try to move out, utilize his Zealot bombs on the army, utilize Psy Storms, I think that he's just so far ahead because Sharp was about to fall to 1 base mining. You know, I feel really bad for Best because I think he outplayed Sharp for most of the game, and then he made that one mistake, and Sharp just snapped him for it. Yeah, I think they're about to show that exact moment, right? So there's Vultures going behind this army right now.
Yeah.
He moves his army out of position, and watch this. This doesn't do anything. He's like,
normally you have like
Zealots.
a Reaver in there. You have some kind of power unit, a Reaver or Templar that's going to cause devastation, and the Zealots are just, you know, they're these annoying insects that have to be stomped out over time. But if you just drop Zealots, then it's really not that difficult. The scary thing is when there's a Reaver in there. And then the Vulture run-by was insane because, you know, we focus so much on these probes at the new bases, but it's all the same minerals at the end of the day, right? So if he takes out the probes down here, it's a big blow. So, you know, it seems like Best made a couple of errors. He should have probably stayed back, kept storm dropping. And taken 12 or even very, very other spawn at the top left of the map, because there's moments where people try to find value against Terrans, and there's actually just no value to be had.
Yes. That's exactly what happened, man. Like, I don't know why he attacked in there. Sharp was under a lot of pressure to get a 4th base up. So Best kind of messes that one up. Unfortunately, goes that loser's match. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, Action versus Royal.
선수급 텐션, 최고의 토킹, 핫식스 토킹.
똑같은 하루에서 답답함을 빼면 더 청량해질 거야. 제로처럼. 우리 없어도 되는 건 빼고 살자. 칠성사이다 제로. 청량한 이 순간 칠성사이다로부터. 칠성사이다.
Welcome back, everybody. The ASL continues on. Best has been knocked down into the losers match, and Sharp, through his finesse, through his brilliant tactics, is now in the winners match. Yeah, man. I mean, it's kind of a heartbreaker every time I see Best lose. You know, I'm not his biggest fan. Honestly, I study a lot of the other Protoss players, but just seeing how many times he's been participating in ASLs and having games that either are very disappointing or he's going to win and then it backfires and blows up in his face. It's too bad.
Well, he can't turn it off, it seems, you know? I think that's the issue there. If he had just sat there, those vultures never get in, Sharp never gets out, you know?
Yeah.
But he did everything, it was just this series of decisions he made that you don't have to make. They're just, why would you go and finish someone? A lot of times finishing someone in StarCraft is waiting for them to die, you know? Waiting for them to finish themselves by the pressure of having to get a fourth base. Like, he was not going to be able to get a fourth base against a huge arc with Psy Storms. So, it's sad. I hope he can come back, but that was a pretty big mistake.
Well, Action's ready to go. This guy has been an absolute beast since the very beginning. You were pretty familiar with Action when you first moved out here, right, Tastosis? He was a member of Eastro, is that correct?
That's right, yeah. I lived with him for over a year. He was a great kid. He's obviously a man now, but he was a great kid back then. Very kind, very friendly, and known as the hardest worker in the team. And in fact, he was considered one of the top 3 practicing players in all of professional StarCraft. The only player that was known to practice more than him, if I'm remembering correctly, was I believe either Luxury or his twin Yellow. They were like super practice players. But yeah, he plays relentlessly, and he still just practices his ass off all the time. Just such a solid Zerg player. Maybe the best overall Defiler user in the world. I've seen a lot of pros say that about him. You can definitely see that reflected in his play. But a great player, and I think underappreciated for his skill, because he's always in that round of 8.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be another one of those seasons. Now, Royal, another one of the brand new Terran superstars. He was one of the guys. If ASL was a K-pop show, he was one of the dancers in the background. But now he's the one in the front that you always recognize.
Yeah.
He had an amazing season earlier, and his dreams came true. He took the whole thing. Classic man, Tastosis is what his shirt has on there.
What a great shirt.
What a great shirt. And the man is an eye, so that must be him. We're gonna go into game 2. Or match 2, I guess you could say. Best of 1. After this best of 3, Royal versus Action starts now. Okay, we've got Royal in the bottom right. We've got Action in the top right. It's going to be on Retro again. Anytime you have 2 players that share one of the 4 sides of the map, in this case they both share the right, you got to point out that pathway. It's kind of supposed to be the third base for the Zerg, unless you spawn in these spots against the Terran. But you can go directly to your opponent's expansion, and rushes in the early game were extremely potent.
Yeah, even in the late game, remember Ample ended up getting smashed by Hero via just a defy the rundown there. He didn't respect the fact that there could be a counterattack through their late game, and that's how he lost in Group C. So definitely something you have to keep your mind on. But Royal is such a different Terran player than basically everybody. Oh wow, look at that! Second best ZVT actually belongs to Action. And that's just after Effort, who's smashed Flash in ASL. And then as far as TVZ highest win rate goes to Royal, I definitely knew that. The season that Royal won, he just beat every Zerg. It was actually a pretty Zerg-heavy season, and he had, like, the sickest builds and just destroyed all the Zerg players. So has an excellent ZVT record, or TVZ record. But yeah, as far as Royal goes, gotta mention, he is, like, the biggest optimizer that Terran has right now.
He's going to go for command center first.
Yeah, he is. That's kind of funny to see. I think he's reading the situation pretty well, because Action doesn't pull first very often. He is definitely a macro Zerg. Not as many. I wouldn't do this against a lot of Zergs in ASL, but Action is probably a good idea.
Yeah, there's something so smart to this in the planning, because Action isn't an odds player. He's not like Shine or even Soma at times, where they kind of where you can see Royal really is as far as Terrans go.
Yeah.
But this is how you punish somebody who's more of a kind of grinder, fundamentals. I'm just going to try to do the safest, smartest way. This is how people completely sidestep it. And so this spawning pool's not done. This command center's already started. There's no way that the Zerg can punish the Terran. And so the Terran starts the game with a lead.
Yeah, but the drone has actually done a pretty good job, right? We saw like 4 SCVs not mining for a bit there, so that's pretty significant. He's done as best as he can with that first scout. That is a bit lucky for him and a bit unlucky for Royal. If you just happen to not scout him right away, this build goes off without a hitch. But as is, look at this. He even brings the drone back, gonna get a little bit more damage. Look, he goes up the ramp and sees the second barracks. This has actually been quite a heroic drone. This drone has done a lot. I would be super frustrated in Royal's position, but he's the one that chose to go for the risky command center first here.
Yeah, the drone is getting just a almost baffling amount of damage and lost mining time here. The Zerg does take 12 o'clock immediately, so the rhythm of this game is going to be a little bit different. Not much can happen at this very moment, but things are going to pick up pretty quickly, because the income is going to start pouring in. The gas is almost done for the Terran. The gas has started now for the Zerg.
And, third base going up, like, immediately with Zerg that's, like, a very, very greedy play. And Action has opened 2 racks, so that's kind of fortuitous for him, because that means he can put pressure on a bit quicker. So what we probably will end up seeing is there will be a Marine Medic move out, and Action's going to have to make, like, 4 sunken colonies. And that's going to be annoying for him. But, he's going to have those 3 bases. He's going to have the availability of 3 gases very, very early into the game. And Royal should be teching very quickly with this as well, right? It should be like the 2 racks Academy opener, but with a very fast factory, like before Mutas.
Here come those 4 Marines. Yeah, he's got to back up. If he goes any further. That's the move we see so often versus Zerg, where you just try to prompt the Zerg to make a few more lings. It looks like Action didn't even fight. He just has his drones hatch. It doesn't even bother. He's
completely unafraid at this moment.
Yeah.
He knows that if Royal overcommits the 4 Marines, he can't put on the pressure to force the sunken. So
right.
Yeah, he's like Action's really dialed in. He knows what he's doing.
Okay, the Marines are going to come out. The Lings are just going to try to stay within eye shot of them. Try to see, okay, how committed is he? When do I have to make those sunken colonies? He starts 2 creeps.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny thing. When they walk out like that, you're actually gaining like 15 seconds or so. Wow, he didn't make a fire bat. He made a Marine. So, but you're gaining a bunch of time because the Marines kind of have to stand there until normally you make a couple fire bats to make sure this can't happen. But Royal, being a little bit greedy there, went for Marines. And now just this kind of smallish group of Speedlings is doing so much. I gotta say, like, so far this game, like, it's not like Royal is doing, like, poorly or anything. But I feel like Action is playing, like, a perfect game so far. Like, this Zergling counterattack is just right, just the right amount. He's slowed him down a lot. He's made the 3 sunks that he felt like he needed there. Like, very, very good play from Action so far.
I mean, how many Marines were actually killed back there? It seemed like it was quite a bit. For just a couple lings, that's pretty huge. And, you know, what Royal wanted to do, it never came to fruition because it was him just trying to clean up anything back at home. There's something to the Zergs that can always get Zerglings in your base where I feel like they're the hardest to play against. Because even if I have everything in order and I'm hitting all my marks back at home, if I misstep even slightly with Marines, which are honestly pretty sluggish units until you can stim with them, the Zerglings can punish you so much. And here we go again, Act 2.
Yeah, look at this. Like, his counterattacks are perfect here. He's going to go after turret. Like, Royal's in super big trouble right now. This is bad news for him. Like, he had a good build order choice here against Action. Action scouts him first, does great with the drones. He's trying to put some pressure on, but the Lings are nonstop. He's killed missile turrets. He's killed. Look at that. He kills another missile turret. Mutas are on their way right now.
And if you don't get the initial missile turrets up, Terran can actually die here.
Yeah.
In the next couple of minutes, like everything is tethered together to defend. Like everything's going to pair together and complement each other. Now it's just going to be Mutas murdering SCVs, and whenever the Marines get too close, the Mutas just find a new position. It's hard to get Marines with medics to move through these narrow areas. And I mean, how many more SCVs are going to be killed? It's already a 3-base Zerg. Let's not forget that many games we cast this matchup, the Zerg is taking a 3rd base right now. The 3rd base was taken a long time ago. The money's already pouring in. SCVs have been wiped out in such high numbers. And Marine counts are still staying low.
If Action just doesn't overcommit to the Mutas, okay. He has an Evolution Chamber right now. I'm not sure. I think he'll put the Hydro's Den down, but he could even go Crazy Zerg at this point. He can do almost anything. Look at this. He's eliminating, like, every Marine. Don't forget, this was a 2-barracks play.
Right.
So he doesn't actually have that much Marine production that's occurred so far. Look at this. He's going after the first vessel. There's only a missile turret here. The game's over. Action has, like, completely destroyed Royal. This was not even a close game for a second. And I don't even know what to say, man. Like, he completely outplayed him.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Just dominated. Royal, making the Marine instead of the fire bat. I'm not sure why. Maybe the gas went somewhere else. I know it's not a lot of gas. I can't explain it otherwise. GG. And Action moves on to that winner's match. He'll be facing off against Sharp.
Yeah. And that's going to be a fun best of 3. But you know what's crazy is that it's Royal versus Best. Because honestly, if you asked me to predict it at first part of it, I'm like, yeah, Royal and Best will play in the winner's match. So that's a wild losers match that we're going to see.
I mean, Royal's got to be unhappy with that. But one thing about Action is he's so scary. He really knows how to use these Lings to counterattack. He knew exactly where to go. He knew when to target Marines versus when to target SCVs versus when to target turrets versus when to run away just to buy more time to bait out another stim so those Marines have that much less medic energy to heal them later. I mean, there's so much going on. Props to Action. He's not done yet. He's going to go up against Sharp. I think he can do that, but Sharp's been having a pretty good day as well. Royal versus Best is going to be brutal.
Yeah, that's an insane best of 3 for a losers match. Not really sure what's going to end up happening there, but Action really looks on point. And it's going to be a much different game against Sharp. Sharp has the most vanilla Terran versus Zerg that there is. So that's just going to be like a very solid, very awesome macro series, I think. And, dude, there are a lot of fans in the audience here today. A lot of foreigner fans out there.
I know. I'm glad they made it. We see the signs. We love you guys. And Guys, remember, if you're going to be getting tickets to this, buy them early in the morning, Korea time. They sell out very fast. And this is only the round of 16.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to jump to a quick commercial break here, guys. And when we come back, well, oh, no, never mind. We're going to look at the replay. It was kind of like slow going.
Yeah, I thought
this
the
was
same thing.
That was a super important part. Normally, you make a fire bat there, but this is the thing. Royal, I mentioned earlier, he's an optimizer. He's like the #1 optimizer, Terran. So he is literally cutting edges like everywhere to try to get ahead, and he cut too many here. Like you got to make the fire bat to make sure that the Lings cannot get through the wall. Trying to attack single file into a fire bat just isn't something that works. So he breaks through there. This push never gets off of its feet. And then he moves out again and gets another Ling counterattack that just absolutely dismantles him for the Mutas. Just perfectly played there by Action.
Action, I think he might be getting out first here. I mean, I think it should be a close game, but Action looks really on top of it. That's an ASL champ he just took out.
Yeah. No, he looked so much better than him. It was crazy. It's one game, but really Action, he made it look like a different league. Okay, we're going to go to a quick break here, guys, and then Action for sure.
우주급 텐션 최고의 토킹 핫식스 토킹.
이 선수와 함께하고 싶다, 같은 주에서 하는 선수가 있다면 또 한 번 선택당하는 김윤환. 이유는?
말 안 해도 알지 않나요? 저번 시즌에 올라오지.
약해서는 아니에요. 저그전을 되게 자신 있어 하면서 저를 이제 만만해 하더라고요.
사실 제일 만만한 친구는 이 친구예요. 1승인데 봐준다 이런 느낌이지.
참기억을 지키고 싶었다는 약간 그런 딱 생각이 들었어. 이 형님이
오늘 붙어있을 새가 없네,
이번 또 오랜만에 올라왔잖아요. 저도 오랜만에 올라왔고 누군가는 8강을 가야죠.
같이 가는 방법도 있는데 굳이 누군가는이라고 말하는 이유는?
힘들 것 같아요.
같이 가는 건 힘들다.
네, 같이 가는 건 좀 어려울 것 같아가지고
기석이가 저희 쪽에 오지 않을까. 리스트가 4명 있는데 앞에서 제가 원하는 3명 갈 것 같아서.
원하는 선수가 김윤환,
네.
준호,
네.
김태형 정도니?
정확하네요. 이게 말한 적이 없는데 너무 정확하게 알고 있으니까.
이 선수랑 같은 조 되면 안 된다, 진짜. 나 8강 가야 되는데.
제가 무서울 게 뭐가 있습니까? 시드전데.
저는 이 선수를 보겠습니다.
김민철 선수.
제가 한창 좀 잘했을 때 2명한테 맡겼었거든요. 김성현, 김민철. 네.
왜 민철이 어떤 스타일이 좀 이렇게 기성이를 힘들게 하는 걸까?
일단은 특별하진 않는데 묵직해요. 어떻게든 뚫으려고 하는데 이게 안 뚫리니까.
김치보이?
왜?
근데 빌드 약간 이런 면에서 좀 이거저걸 다 쓰기 때문에 너 때문에 좀 까다로운 것 같아.
이거 되게 애땠었는데 저를 ASL에서 제일 많이 떨어뜨린 장본인이라서 4인용인데 파일럿서치 원서치 당하고 대각땡렉 당하고 이상한 전진 게이트 하고
한이면 정말
진짜 이것저것 다 당했어요 제가.
나랑 좀 사연이 있는 선수.
저는 이제 재욱이 형을 보고 싶습니다. 맨날 이제 구이맘 이러면서 나는 너의 팬이다 이러면서 이제 방송을 맨날 몰래 본다.
조기 구이맘.
네, 저의 모든 일거수일투족을 다 알고 있어요.
근데 형들이 되게 좀 예뻐할 스타일이야, 기석이가. 형들에게 또 어필이 되는 나의 매력이 뭐라고 생각해?
덩치는 산만한데 약간 하는 행동이 약간 조금 이제
귀여워.
막내 같고 약간 귀엽다 막 이런 느낌. 네.
아내 본인이 귀여운 거.
아닙니다.
내가 생각하는 좀 종족 징징 1순위.
일단은 저그 김명훈.
명훈이 불러, 명훈이.
여기서요. 여기서. 가려져 있지만 일정이가 은근히.
그래? 살짝 그렇다.
네.
살짝 어필을 좀 한다.
네, 어필을 좀 하는 거.
오케이.
항상 10렙이 나오면은 맨날 혼자 징징대. 저는 솔직히 10렙이 나와도 극복한단 마인드에서 저도 좀 가만히 있거든요. 근데 항상 제일 열심히 좀 어필하더라고요.
그래서 같은 테란으로서 좀.
그래서 고마워요. 가만히 있는데 혼자서 다 해주니까.
이 선수 이거 좀 부럽다. 근데 꼭 경기가 아니어도 돼.
근데 이러면 좀 부러운 건 없는데 딱히.
소매!
그냥 나이가 들면서 사리 사욕이 많이 없어졌어요. 공수래 공수거. 진짜 이제 뭐 인생 뭐 왔다 그냥 가는 거죠 뭐.
사진만 봐도 이제 남자들이라면
부러워하지 않을 수가 없는.
지금 딱 봐도 어깨 되게 넓고 막 그렇잖아요. 평소에도 키도 크고 볼 때마다 좀 남자스럽고 좀 부럽더라고요.
아닌데? 여고생 같은데 저.
저는 이 친구가 저번 시즌에 우승했었잖아요.
맞아.
제가 원래 좀 앞섰다고 생각했었지만은 영재가 진짜 열심히 노력한 가운데 오히려 역으로 먼저 우승을 했잖아요. 그래서 그런 모습이 조금 진짜 대견스럽고 좀 부럽다고 생각 들었었어요, 저는.
게임 안에서의 이미지와 경기장 바깥에서 이 선수의 진짜 성격과 좀 차이가 많이 나는 선수니까.
고르기가 어렵네요, 상당히.
별로 너 남한테 관심이 없는 스타일이지.
네,
너도 별로 남한테 관심 없지.
진짜 없긴 한데 그나마 있으면 영재. 되게 차분하고 약간 이런 성격인 줄 알았는데 게임 보면은 어느 누구보다 급하더라고요. 은근 남자 스타일 약간.
은근 남자 스타일.
현재 저는 경기할 때는 저한테 센터 게이트를 3번 연속할 정도로 이제 좀 지독한 사람인데.
와, 생더블.
네.
와, 이거 상생이 나오네요. 연속 땡내 극결과 승리.
저번 시즌에 뭐 저 이제 이겼으면 좋겠다고 막 팁도 주고 막 도움도 많이 줘가지고.
진짜 연습 도와주는 상대로는 좋지만 경기로는 만나기 싫다.
스트레스 받죠.
이게 지성이라고 생각합니다.
김지성 선수.
게임 할 때는 영악하게 하는데 사람한테 대할 때는 좀 엄청 사람이 착하더라고요. 게임 스타일이나 이미지랑 너무 좀 정반대되는 그런 스타일이었어요.
대결하고 있는 선수이니만큼 본인의 경기를 잘 펼치기를 또 지켜보고 있습니다. 감사합니다.
나는 이제 못 올라가나? 이런 생각이 좀 들었었는데 진짜 열심히 하니까 올라가게 되더라고요.
보여주고 싶은 건 다 보여주시는 그런 시즌이 되길 응원하겠습니다.
감사합니다.
지금은 다시 올라왔고 이유는 모르겠는데
오늘 다 해보겠습니다. 일단 미안하고 다음 시즌 노려봐.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for the winner's match. This is Action versus Sharp. Action, I mean, if he can do it to Royal, he can do it to anybody. But as Artosis said, Royal is an optimizer. He's a corner cutter. He's a cutter corner. He's a corner cutter. Sharp is a very, very, very different player.
Yeah. You know, as like harassment based and aggressive as his TVP can be, his Terran Berserk is honestly very straightforward. He plays like a standard solid macro SK Terran most of the time. Of course, he has the range of everything. He's been around forever. He's one of the best Terrans. He can do everything, and he might have some stuff he wants to mix in here against Action. But for the most part, if you look at his games, he does play standard. And the thing is, Action is probably one of the very best Zergs at playing against these kind of standard SK Terran builds. So I do feel like Action is favored here. There's nothing about Sharp's Terran Berserk that makes me think, oh yeah, he's got this, you know?
Yeah, I hear that for sure. And again, the fact that Sharp won versus Best is cool, but I do think some of that comes down to Best. And I'm not trying to take away from Sharp, but the maneuver with the shuttles and the zealots in there was pretty brutal. So we got to see what's going to happen against Action, who I just don't think Action's going to make a mistake. Think of all the games you've seen him Action. He's not a very accident-prone player.
Yeah, no, he plays solid through and through.
All right, guys, we're ready to get into this one. This is the winner's match. Only 2 spots remain in the round of 8 of ASL. This one of these 2 players is going to take one of them. Okay, we've got Action in the top left, and in the bottom right is Sharp. This is going to be on the map Invader. TVZ, I'm still trying to wrap my head around on this map. How about you, Artosis?
Yeah, TVZ I don't know a lot about on this map as of yet. Yeah, not entirely sure what we'll end up seeing. One thing I did notice is it goes this map, the Neo-Dark Origin, and then we'll get into Apocalypse. Honestly, all three of those maps seem really decent for Terran, SK Terran against Zerg. So I could see that being a little bit of a problem for Action. I think the big question is on these maps, like especially with two-player maps in general, like just keeping heavy pressure and denying a fourth base that's kind of like the key to victory on those maps. So I wonder about how Action will be able to secure a fourth, right?
Sure, yeah.
So that's kind of the thing I'm looking at, where that might be Sharp's road to victory. By the way, he puts a forward depot for like a wall, but there are multiple paths here.
Yeah,
so
I was scratching my head looking at that. So, if you guys have watched a lot of recent StarCraft, Terrans basically make the wall in early on, and it does give them the option to make a command center. You could also make 2 racks back there and do like some kind of surprise play like we saw from C earlier. But this is a different map because there's 2 entrances. There's a tiny ramp on the left side of Sharp's natural and a big flatland area at the top. So it doesn't feel that safe. Obviously,
No.
Sharp knows that that's there, but I am curious what his responses would be if the attack, if an attack were to come there.
Well, you normally, the reason you make the wall is it holds off Zerglings so you don't have to make a bunker, but because there's a second ramp, like, doesn't, I mean, does this really, like, if there's a lot of lings, you will need a bunker. You know, the wall won't do it itself, so I don't know. It seems a little bit weird to me, but we'll see how he ends up playing it. Honestly, haven't had many Terran Berserkers on Invaders so far. But, yeah, the SCV trying to do some scouting, some good drone micro there, putting a lot of damage onto it. And it looks like a pretty standard, like, 2-hatch opener here for Action.
Remember that the drone has the ranged shot, just like the probe. And so it's a problem when you're an SCV on the map because SCVs, they're not going to heal on their own like Zerglings do, or any other Zerg unit. And so that SCV gets shot down right away. The command center is going to start. And, you know, it's funny. Had Action just, like, cooled early and attacked, he would have won this game. But I guess
right?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like, we're watching him make the stuff, and it's pretty obvious he would have died. But you know what? Let's think about what Royal did, right? He knew that Action wasn't going to do that and went command center first.
Yeah, Action doesn't really take those types of risks, which does make him a little bit predictable, but it does make him super solid. You know, I think that's one of the big differences between him and Sulky, because I think they're both great macro Zergs, but Sulky will be like, yeah, let's 6-pool. You know, like, he'll mix those in, whereas Action, and it's not to say Action never cheeses, he certainly does cheese from time to time, but at a lower percentage than most of the other top Zergs.
We've got Marines moving out. 4 of them now. Now, I don't know if Action actually saw these guys leaving. Okay, 6 lings total. This is enough to take on 4 Marines.
Mm-hmm. This is good for Action, I guess, right? Like, if you just get these kills, this is super solid. If you only had 4 Zerglings, the Marines win. So that's already a really good moment. You know, we were talking about this actually in the previous game, where when Royal turned around, it was the right choice, because if you lose those, your 2 racks pressure can't really come out. And that's where we're at with this, right? Like, normally with this sort of timing, you'll have like 8 Marines and 2 medics. Here, we're going to be looking at closer to like maybe 6 Marines, I guess, 2 medics, something like that for Sharp. So it makes a big difference.
The SCV did scout what the tech is. It is going to be mutas, obviously. It's always expected that it's mutas, but you know, the Zerg can throw some pretty brutal curveballs in mid-game. It seems like they can do that almost more than any other race at times. And so we've seen Lurker bust. I was wondering if it could have been a Lurker bust earlier because of the double ramp. But it's going to be the muta play, so we need to see Sharp start to layer his base with turrets.
Yeah, no, Sharp has made a fire bat to kind of make up for the Marines that are missing, but he's not going to be able to get much done. Like, he walks out here, there are the Speedlings waiting for that counterattack, and he's just trying to catch them. Which I think this is fine. Like, he can't really put too much pressure on. I think he knows that the early game didn't go that well. But still, a couple Lings get in. They're going to get a scout. They see that it's a 3 racks opener. Right? This is a ton of intel. Like, you already have a really good idea of what Sharp is going for. You know, 3 racks is very middle of the road. And he's going to know exactly how to play against this.
So this final Ling is going to be killed off. The Mutas have hatched. I assume +1 attack's coming. Everybody gets +1 attack now, Tastosis, in this matchup. Is that correct? It's just like
well,
the
except
norm.
that one game with Rush. Other than that, it's always +1 attack every single time. He hasn't actually started the attack upgrade yet. He definitely needs to do that. It's kind of weird that it hasn't started. Normally you get it right away with the 3 racks opener, but yeah, the Muta's coming in for some harassment. We can see this one depot, a little bit of a liability. This can happen with any wall on any map. So. You know, a little bit painful, and it is a little bit further away, so hard to defend.
Okay, the stim, they come forward. Another fire bat's been brought out. No fire bats can ever survive in actions games for very long.
No.
He's going to have a drone transferred up into 12. And I got to say, I think Sharp's in pretty good shape. It looks like the placement of this turret makes it impossible for more than one SCV to repair it from there. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, this looks like a spot where it is hard to repair your turrets in general. It's kind of that split formation for those vertical mineral patches.
By
so
the
it's
way,
hard to get them all firing.
Sharp's moving out. This is going to force the Mutas to come back. This is where we see this position. It always looks funny, I think, to people that don't know the matchup that well. The idea that Terran just sits outside of their base once their base is starting to be attacked, and then the Zerg just leaves. Because the threat of the counterattack is too much. But at the same time, if you get too far across, you can't get back home.
Ooh, good micro here from Action. He's going to be able to eliminate the whole group. Dude, I got to tell you, Action's playing the best in this group today for sure.
Yeah, like, he looks way better.
He's dismantling. Like, Sharp already, he killed the first 4 Marines, and now he's killed the first group that walked out on the map. He's doing really, really well here.
Yeah, we thought this was going to be a close group, and now Action looks like the older brother that's beating his little brother and all of his little brother's friends at the sleepover at the game. Where they're like all just trying to have fun. Like they got a bunch of blockbuster movies in a game, and now it's not fun anymore because the older brother's there.
Yeah, you know, he's ruining this group.
He should play with people his own age. This is actually ridiculous.
Look at this, another attack in, brings the Lings that add a lot of damage to that turret, just flies away from everything, rotating around to these turrets that are harder to repair. Action is really playing amazingly. He has that +1 attack and everything, so gonna continue to put this damage out. Sharp having a really hard time defending this mineral line. Again, we haven't seen a lot of Terran versus Zergs here, but you can see Action, you know, really making it difficult for Sharp.
Yeah, and now the Marines, I mean, they haven't come back up. He's been so busy trying to defend behind his minerals that the main was a little bit exposed. And Action is just continuing to do so much damage. You know, I mentioned it in the other game, but it's just as true here. Sometimes Terrans just fizzle out after games like this. They can't build up the material they need. There's more Mutas coming out, dude.
He's just
this is
kill him.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, like he just started his starport. The starport is late. Everything is kind of late for Sharp. His SCV count is low. He's having a hard time making turrets. His Marines can't seem to do anything defensively here. Look at this. Just rotates the main base. Like, oh, your Marines are down there. That's fine. The game is over. This is, you know, it's a best of 3, so Sharp's going to have more chances, but Action absolutely outplaying in this game.
Yeah, there's a counterattack headed up to the north, but I mean, the Zerg can just as easily leave his base and come back and defend that. At this point in time, I think he's going to both destroy the natural expansion and the counterattack from Sharp is going to be beaten. I think Sharp doesn't have more than another minute in this game.
Yeah, there's enough units here to probably take out the bio that's there. And in fact, he's bringing the other group back, and he's going to start to harass it as well. Just dives on it. He knows that Sharp can't really recover from a position that looks like this. Sharp stimming, loading up the bunkeries, trying to get into Valkyrie tech. Yeah, nothing is working out for him, and that's going to be 1-0 for Action.
Yeah, beautiful game there from Action. I think it's going to be a 2-0. I think he's got to it looks like he's playing placement matches right now. He's going to get his rank in the round of 8.
No, he stomped Royal. Now he's stomped Sharp in game number 1. You know, and the Terran players certainly didn't play like impressively, but it's, you know, it's Action jumping on every single little thing that's wrong.
I think that's a very discouraging game for Sharp. You know, Terrans, this is all they do is navigate through mid-game TVZ. But when you get a player like Action, he's just such a master at this. He makes it look like Terran can never get out of their base.
Oh, yeah. No, Sharp certainly couldn't. Every time he walked out, he lost everything. So we're going to go to Neo Dark Origin. I think Sharp may want to bring out a more tech build.
I think so.
Maybe a factory opener, maybe a Valkyrie rush. But, yeah, this is a hard map to defend mutas on. Maybe even harder than Invader. So good luck to Sharp.
Action in the bottom right, Sharp in the top left. The map is Neo Dark Origin. And I actually forgot this was going to be map 2 with these two. This is a very different map. A very punishing map, in my opinion. It's really important you get into a stable spot in the mid-game, or you just don't get out of mid-game usually.
No, it's a map where, like, if Terran can get out and get control, like map control, you know, you can really lean on Zerg. It can be very hard for Zerg to get those additional bases. But Mutalisks are extremely strong here. The natural's hard to defend. It's kind of far away.
It's the same guy. What is this meme?
Yeah, I don't know what this skit is, but they are committed, and I appreciate it.
I like it.
Now, Sharp is going for another wall. I think the wall makes a little bit more sense on this spot because you just do have that one entrance. But is he just going to play a straight SK Terran opener? I wouldn't be surprised. That's just kind of how Sharp plays. And he may have actually prepared more for the other two matchups and kind of skipped out on this one. I think, honestly, for Sharp, I think that Action is a very bad matchup. If you look at all the Zergs, like, you want someone taking a few more risks if you're Sharp. You don't want the most steady, solid macro Zerg because you're just a steady, solid macro Terran, but not the best at it, right?
Right.
Like, JYJ can fight toe-to-toe with Action, but Sharp is going to have a harder time because he's not as good at the matchup. So I do think that this is a bad match for him. He may just go for SK Terran like 3 games in a row and just try to play a standard game and hope to win, and have prepared more Terran versus Terran and Terran versus Protoss for today. You know, that feels like a smart game plan to me, considering who these players are.
It is worth noting that if that's the way that Sharp's going to play this, he's going to be having a pretty tough time in this season if he's going to win, right? There's just a lot of good Zergs so far.
He's not going to win.
And it does look like Action's going to get out, so we're going to have 4 Zergs in the round of 8. The eBay, how common is that, Artosis?
It's not very common at all. You don't see eBay blocks, but it was like a pool first, and Sharp got down there, so he decided to do it. And the fact that this is a pool first with a quick gas, like, Sharp walled in. So he wants to see this, right? Like, this is what he wants to play against. This is not going to do, the Zerglings aren't going to do anything against him. Like, I wasn't looking at the exact build order, but I assume this is like some sort of like 9 pool speed, or maybe it could have been like a 12 pool. Actually, if we see only 4 Zerglings here, this is just a super fast
pool
layer.
Speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 12, 12 pool layer.
Yeah, that's right. And that's, so basically what this build is it just gets your mutas out more quickly. You don't have a move out timing against this. Like, you know, the 2 racks Academy Rush, that doesn't work against this. The mutas just come too quickly. So the best play to do against this is generally considered 1 racks Academy into your second barracks. So that you can get your stim out, you get your scans out, you get your range out very quickly, and you just kind of sit back defensively because this is kind of low drone.
So, actually, another quick question, if I can, because this is where TVZ, I'm a little bit out of my depth with the Zerg openings. Oh my God! Well, I was about to ask you if this could be 2-hatch, like Muta all in, like, you know, the super aggro stuff where you don't really have but the layer, excuse me, the Hydralisk Den is down.
Yeah, yeah. And this is actually, out of all the all-ins, this is the one that Action does the most. He actually, he actually does this all in too much. Where he goes 2-hatch lurker all in. But, you know, against walls, like, if you don't figure out what is going on right away against this, you can die. And don't forget there is that back path that he could power down with lurkers as well. I think that that's not as scary as it sounds, because it's all about stopping the very first lurker push. If you know it's coming, you build bunkers in front there. And he should know, because he's followed the correct tech route. Like I mentioned, like, part of the reason why you go 1-Rax Academy is to get the scan very quickly, because you do have to check and make sure it's Muta. Because whatever it is coming super fast.
And it's 2 bunkers in the front to hold this, right?
Yes. Yes, you absolutely need 2 bunkers. And in fact, like, if you screw up at all, the 2 bunkers could be busted. So, honestly, if you see something like this, you should make 3 bunkers. And they should be, like, kind of stifled a little bit. And there should be a fire bat in one of them. You know, because you've got to fry the lings. It's a funny thing to watch Terran players. Like, if a big lurker ling bust comes, yeah, he scans and he sees it. See, he sees that in enough time. He will be able to make the bunkers in time. Like, you got to move the... wait, that's an okay bunker. That's like your last resort bunker, but he should probably go out and make 2 in the front.
Well, it looks like he's only making 1. Where's the 4th Hydra? Were there only 3? Did I hallucinate a 4th Hydra here?
I thought there was 4, but no, maybe there was only 3. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess.
So what Sharp does is he moves out to intercept the lurkers. He sees where they are now.
Yeah, the fire bat here is so important. You have to shred those lings ASAP. Okay, he gets that second bunker, and these are stifled. Really well done. You can see the fire bat destroying those Zerglings, and he gets his scan off.
Oh my god, they all target the same lurker? That's pretty fortunate.
Yeah, he's going to do a pretty good job holding this. He doesn't have another scan right this second. You know, his first scan found the lurker den, so that's really good. And he is going to send more SCVs down here. And there you go. There's that second scan. So important. The Lings were waiting for that because they want to tank damage for this lurker. That's not going to work out. And Sharp's going to take this game. Like, this game is super over.
Okay, GG, I was going to say, does Action try to find a plan B?
Yeah, there's not really a plan B there. But that was like basically perfectly executed from Sharp. Like, every aspect. Like, he found the Hydralisk Den with the first scan, banked the second, stifled the bunkers, had a fire bat. That's like maybe the most important part, is the fire bat. That's like something that takes a while to learn as a Terran player, is if you scan, it doesn't matter. The bunker will still attack Zerglings. So, like, you have to kill every Zergling, then scan. That's like how you hold a rush like this.
Well, Sharp survives the all-in, but nothing says that Action has to all-in again this time around. I can't imagine he would. Maybe Sharp can take advantage of this and try to go command center first.
Yeah, I wonder about that. Okay, so we're going on to Apocalypse. Apocalypse is kind of an interesting map here. You know, you kind of have that high ground outside of the bases, so containment can be very easy with SK Terran if you can make it to that stage.
All right, guys, we're going to go into the final match. One of these 2 players survives to the round of 8. Find out who it is. Three-player map, Sharp at the top, Action in the lower right. The Overlord is going to be going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate there. But yeah, Apocalypse, like, this map, there are some interesting things, like the spawn that Sharp got, I think, is actually good. If he had spawned on Action's spawn, the natural is actually very hard to defend there. It's like vertical minerals, so you need turrets on both sides, but then also there's like this very thin strip on the left of the command center that you have to defend against harassment. So that would have been a tough spawn, but this is like a pretty normal natural here. And he's going for the wall once again, really digging those walls.
I think we're going to have Action go hatchery first. I don't imagine, especially with the way that game went, unless he does do like the you know, super fast Muta all in. That was the build that was really popular when you and I first came here, Tastosis. Every game was 2-hatch Muta all in.
Yeah, that was pretty darn popular early on in Remastered. Not as much anymore. Like, Terrans are pretty darn good at defending it. Obviously,
I was talking about when we first moved to Korea. Like, way long ago.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You know, the game actually goes in, like, these funny cycles where, you know, back in, like, 2007-ish, there started to be a change from 3-hatchery play going into 2-hatchery play. I remember I was really angry about that, Tasteless, because I thought all the 2-hatch players were cheesers. And I was actually right at that time. It's no longer the case, but like, it was funny. There was like all this every pro that came up was a 2-hatch Zerg. There were no more 3-hatch Zergs. Like, Roro was the last one at that point, and then everyone else that came up for a while was a 2-hatch Zerg. And I remember specifically talking a lot of trash about Shine because I was like, this guy can only Mutalisk Micro. Come on.
Now he's bag of builds. He does every possible cheese there is.
No,
now he's truly your worst nightmare.
Oh, in every way. In every way. I've even lost to his Terran, man. He's a monster. But anyways, this looks like a pretty standard build from Action. You know, Sharp just walling in. I'm sure he'll go for the command center and go into his standard SK Terran. But hopefully he can do a little bit better holding on. Look at this drone micro.
Oh my god. That's disgusting. This has got to feel awful, by the way, when you're Terran.
It's, dude,
you're
it's
just like,
the worst
well,
feeling in
I
the whole
can't
world.
even scout you? Okay.
Yeah, I actually always type, even to pro gamers when they do this to me, I'm like, do you think that's fair? That I'm literally not even allowed to scout you. I can't even scout you because my worker sucks and yours is good.
It's so funny.
You think it's fair, Tasteless? You got probes, you can do it
No,
too.
I'm sorry, I'm listening. My computer was like opened up like, you need to make a firewall. You got to protect it. Like, something just popped up. I'm like, this is going to end the recording right now. I need to exit.
Oh, God, I hope not.
Sorry. No, it's okay. I fixed it. But every once in a while, the computer's like, you want me to stop everything that you're doing right now on the streaming PC? And then, no. So we got 5 Marines coming up here. He's going to intercept.
Yeah.
Oh, he almost gets a kill on those Lings.
5 Marine move-outs are really, really strong. You know, because normally Zerg wants to make like 4-ish Lings and just sit there. But he does go back to intercept these. So that was a really good move from Action, and Sharp knew what was going on. He doesn't want a couple Lings walking into his base and screwing things up. But did he actually make any more? I don't think he made any more Lings. Look at Action calling these bluffs.
Yeah,
that's
it's
kind of
pretty
crazy,
wild.
huh? Because if he had just attack moved those Marines, that could be like not exactly game-ending damage, but that would be a lot of damage if you don't make any Lings against that.
Yeah,
so
I mean, he's
the
only
fact that
just now got
Action's
a
like,
creep.
no. Yeah. That's kind of wild, though, when Action's just like, no, I'll just run the Lings around, he'll stay. Really, you just feel in the game.
Yeah, Action is so good at just monitoring his opponent, engaging his opponent's ability to counterattack versus fear his own counterattacks. And look, he just makes these Lings run by, he checks, he then runs right back out. And, I mean, the number of drones that have been cranked out is pretty wild here for Action. The Spire's about to finish. We're at 500 gas. We'll probably be up to 600, 700 in a second here. And it's going to be time for Action to use his mutas. Now, the Marine group did shoot down one Zergling and is making a beeline towards that natural. So I think we need to see a second Sunken Colony come up here. But the mutas should be hatching around when this attack gets over there.
Yep. This is all like really mapped out. Sharp is putting on that pressure. He did force that second sunk, which is up in time. He'll see that, and he'll just turn around and go home and get his turrets up. Very, very standard stuff. Oh, God, he's going to try to dive. He only has the one medic here. But he's breaking through pretty quickly. Action with like no Zerglings, but he does have those mutas making. So he needs to pull the drones, the mutas need to pop out, and he needs to kill these Marines very quickly and efficiently.
This is pretty scary. He gets 3 drones. The mutas haven't grouped up yet. He could try to kill these ones as they come out. And he gets one.
That's a great move. Dude,
he's gonna go for the
huge.
2 medics here as well. That's really tough.
Brings his drones up to fight, and dude, he's lost like 3 mutas here. This is absolutely brutal. Sharp did fantastically, and he is really far ahead from that.
You know, it's a funny moment. The Zerg literally has to micro the Sunken Colony to attack whatever the medic's not healing in that moment, because the Sunken Colony will 2-shot a Marine, but it looks like Action wasn't doing that for a second. I thought it was hitting the Marine on the outside, and then it looked like it shot right back into a Marine that was actually right adjacent to a medic. I wonder if that had something to do with it. We'll probably have that shown in the replay portion after this game's done. The mutas are going to come across the map, but we already had, I think, 3 that were killed off in that initial fight, and so 4 mutas really isn't enough to get anything done.
Yeah, killing the Sunks, causing the lost mining time, killing 3 drones, and killing that many mutas is, like, that's insane value. You're so far ahead here. Yeah, action in a rough spot.
He's got to remake the Sunken Colonies.
Oh,
Sharp.
man. And look at that. He scans and sees drones being made. As soon as you see drones being made, you have the green flag to go across the map. Like, as long as your range upgrade's done, you're good.
The green flag? You mean like green
flag,
light?
yeah. The green. Well, no, I'm talking race car driving tastes.
Oh,
right?
Is it a green flag? Isn't it a checkered flag?
Well, that's when you win the race. I'm not sure what the green flag is for, honestly.
My name's Tastosis, and I think in flags. He's going to take the Sunken Colony out. I just don't know if there's quite enough mutas. This could be a red flag, Artosis.
No, I guess so. This is the checkered flag now, for sure.
Yeah.
And he's going
to show up the white flag now. White flag, GG. Oh, and Sharp just shoots out of his chair.
Dude, crazy that he took that. And he is so pumped to be back in the round of 8. He's missed a few ASLs in the last couple of years because, everyone's getting so good. But here he is, triumphant return into that round of 8. And it's, what's wild about this to me is Action played so standard in his game against Royal and his first game against Sharp and destroyed them. And then he pulls out his 2-hatch lurker all in. Dude, every time I see him do this build, it loses. I don't want to be, you got to mix in cheeses. It's important, but, that's painful. And then he gets into this map, and Sharp just nails him. Look at the adrenaline going through Sharp.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I mean, this is just so in line with what this ASL has been since the beginning. It's been the craziest groups ever. Such wild upsets. I mean, the fact that Sharp just balls through in a group that we were saying at the start, and I don't think we're wrong to say this. I think it was a pretty reasonable take. He should be the first to be eliminated, yet here he is the first to move on. And so with the 3 godlike players we have left, only one will make that final spot in the round of 8. Incredible.
That's actually kind of heartbreaking. They are unbelievably strong players, and 2 of them have to be eliminated now. But yeah, they're going to show this initial attack here.
So let's watch the Sunken Colony spikes.
Yeah, look. He's actually got 9 Marines there, which is super, super solid.
And this is where the Sunks weren't synced up, by the way. And then see, look at that. It was shooting the one at the far right, and then it pulled back over to the other one. I mean, it's always easier said than done. I'm sure that, Action had to go back and make a few more units and then bring his camera back over. Then the initial mute is killed that hatches. He thinks about getting the Overlord, decides to stim. I don't know about the position he tried to put in over here, but he kills another Mutalist.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5. He killed 5 Mutas.
That's way more than I thought.
Yeah, you can't really come back from something like that. If Terran just leans on you, you're going to be so far behind for the entire game. So an amazing victory there for Sharp. I'm surprised and impressed that he made out. Good for him. We're going to go to a quick interview with him.
We have our first player advancing to the round of 8 from Group D. It is going to be Sharp, the Terran player. He's back in ASL round of 8 after 8 seasons. Wow, what an incredible feeling.
이 순간을 너무나
Wow,
오래
you must
다시 한번
to
느껴보신
really
것
yearn for this
같습니다.
moment.
시즌 8 이후에 8시즌 만에
After
다시 한번
season 8,
파이널에 올라온
you are now returning to the
조기석
round of 8
선수인데요.
after 8
그동안
seasons.
조기석 선수가 정말 더 노련해지고
You've become more experienced, you've become more calm in your games.
끝나고 나니까 긴장감이 좀 몰려오셨던
So the feeling of
것
euphoria
같아요.
probably is
지금은
coming to you right now. How are you feeling?
일단 굉장히 오랜만에 이렇게 또 이제 또 높은
Yes, it's
무대에
definitely been a long time, making it to round of 8. So I'm really happy, extremely happy right now. It feels surreal actually. I really wanted to play on stage. I just wanted to continue playing on the stage, and it feels like a dream come true moment right now.
ASL에서 간절함의 아이콘을 담당했던 조기석
I mean, in ASL, you were always desperate for more wins,
간절함보다 정말 더
and your performance has become a lot more solid and consistent now.
도재욱 선수와의
So in the match against Best, you did make a comeback.
김성대 선수와의
And the match against Action, you were able to pull off a reverse sweep in that best of 3.
그대로 무너지지 않았던 조기석 선수의
You did not crumble against such powerhouses.
좀 이런 경기력 본인은
So,
어떻게 준비를 해 왔을지
I want to hear the background story behind your preparation.
솔직히 이제 1세트 때 삼룡이를 제가 이제 리버 때문에 못 먹었는데
In the first game, I couldn't do much because of the reavers, and I got a lot of damage
이대로 또
from my opponent, and I thought I lost the game.
그래도 일단 업그레이드가
But I looked at my situation objectively. I had good upgrades, so I actually believed that I had a chance to make a comeback. I just wanted that window of opportunity, and the window of opportunity did come to me eventually, and I was able to grasp that. Yes, like you said, you did get inflicted a lot of damage in the early game. But the Vultures were truly instrumental in your victory today. So in the match against Action, you did yield the first game. But from the second game, you were able to harass your opponent really hard. And the opponent did send sneaky lurkers to your base to inflict a lot of damage, but you really kept your cool. I mean, I actually did anticipate that he would go for a strategy like that because he had a bad economy. So as long as I fended off his lurkers in a calm manner, I knew that I had a chance. In the last game, you were able to grab the right timing to attack, the timing when Action was the weakest. And recently, I've been showing something different to other players. And that was actually one strategy I used against JD before. So I knew this strategy was not going to be predictable from Action's perspective, and it really worked out well for me today. What a wonderful victory for you, Sharp, today. You're back in ASL after a long time, and you'll be playing a best of 5 soon in the round of 8. So far we have JYJ, Mini, Hero, all different races, Protoss, Zerg, Terran. Yes, there's a lot of options right now, but I really want to leave no regrets this season. Then which player do you want to play against? Well, currently I do struggle against Zergs. So if I do play against Hero, it's gonna be quite fun. Oh, so you're not gonna actually hide your flaw, you're actually gonna just go straight up against it. Wow, how brave. So you have your family here, you have your colleagues and fans here. Would you like to share your words of gratitude with them? So I'd like to thank my clan for their support. And also I would like to thank my fans for coming here to the stadium to cheer for me. And my wife supported me so much for this season. She's always been by my side. And she's always rooted for me, right next to me. So I really want to show her great results this season. How moving, Sharp. Well, we hope to see a magnificent performance from you in the round of 8. Once again, congratulations. Oh, but before I go, I want to thank my practice partners. Mini,
그리고 장윤철
Snow,
선수, 유영준
Rush,
선수, 그리고
JOJ,
정영재 선수, 그리고 김병수, 그리고 이영환,
Shine,
이영환 선수, 예, 윤수철
and YSC.
선수까지. 아, 수철아, 미안하다.
I'm sorry, YSC. Almost forgot your name.
일단은 그리고 예, 죄송합니다.
Or 1 second, I'm sorry. Just thinking one more player.
더 열심히.
I guess I will give them a shout out later. All right. Once again, congratulations on your event, man. Thank you. And that's it for the winners interview with Sharp, the player who moves on to round of 8 now.
이벤트 살펴보시죠.
똑같은 하루에서 답답함을 빼면 더 청량해질 거야. 제로처럼. 우리 없어도 되는 건 빼고 살자. 칠성 사이다 제로.
우주급 텐션 최고의 토킹 핫식스 토킹.
청량한 이 순간 칠성 사이다로부터. 칠성 사이다.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time to eliminate one of these players, and I can't believe these are the two players that have to fight in the elimination match. Best versus Royal. Best, one of the most popular and legendary Protoss players. Somebody we've always been saying should be winning an ASL one of these seasons. He's going up against Royal, who's a former ASL champion.
Yeah. Royal won a couple seasons ago. Definitely has a very, very good matchup in every matchup, but honestly, I don't think that of him as a particularly strong Terran versus Protoss player. He can put out those good games, but a lot of his highly optimized builds feel like ones that Best might be able to tear apart with his relentless attacks.
Yeah, Best is, out of all the Protoss bust players, I think he is the best at busting down. Watching since 2008, and he's finally here!
Nice.
Nice, man.
Has to feel good.
It has to feel so good. Yeah, I gotta say, this is a rough one. I'm gonna be really bummed out, by the way, if Best dies. I think everybody's gonna be bummed out if there's only one Protoss in the round of 8.
Yeah. I mean, you want that racial balance as best as possible. But Royal, he's going to be a tough one to get past, and then of course Action as well. So it's a steep road for everybody at this point.
Yeah.
We're going to open up on Tempest, go to Polypoid, and then Invader. Oh, that's going to be interesting, the Tempest game. We've had a lot of Tempest TVPs so far. Kind of cool to see the different ways people are approaching it.
Yeah, it's been a pretty interesting map. A little tricky to unpack, to be totally honest. We're ready to go into this best of 3 now. The loser is out of the ASL, and the winner will go up against Action in the final match here of Group D. All right, we've got Best in the top right. We've got Royal down here in the bottom right, in the green. And Tempest is one of the many new maps that we have here for the season of ASL. It is in the map pool for ladder as well. I think this is the first time in a while been a moment where BattleNet has kept up with the map pool in ASL, which I think really is best for everybody because it is a learning opportunity, not just an entertainment opportunity. When you have these pro matches played for everybody that's watching, you could see a pro do a cool strategy and then actually just go online and try it on the map. Whereas we have these other maps in previous seasons that were not only not in the ladder pool, but nothing like anything that was in the ladder pool.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't even try what they were doing.
No, it's so much more fun. It's like a bigger ladder pool as well, so you actually have some good variety to it. It's my favorite ladder pool that we've had in a long time. I'm like having a lot of fun with it. And, you guys should try it out if you want to play.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah. And it's kind of fun to figure out the maps while you're watching as well and be like, yeah, I've played this map plenty. You know, I have a good idea. Although the funny thing about this map for a Terran player on the ladder, Tasteless, is you only hit Terran versus Zerg.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it's just because of the high ground, it's really hard to counter pressure Zerg because of Sunkens, right? Like missing shots against Sunkens going uphill, it's no good. So, yeah, I ended up vetoing it eventually. But, yeah, we have a Nexus First from Best. We've talked a lot about this, where this is a great map for Nexus First, so I'm glad to see Best going with this. And he's actually going to Scout Royal first as well, so that's fantastic for him. He's going to see that he's close by. He's going to see that it's a factory expansion, so he'll probably throw down a second gate. He could go Forge with this. That does work. And, in fact, he puts a pile on there, so that might actually be what he goes for.
Yeah, I feel like it's really hard to rationalize not going for Forge on this map versus Terran. We should remind everybody that with the high ground natural, I mean, it's just tough to bust anybody's nat. So you can fast expand and cut corners. And I think Terran, out of all three of the races, can basically fast expand the slowest on this map. Because if you were to try to do a super quick expand, Terran, as Terran, Protoss can still run by with 2 Zealots and cause a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So I like this already for Best. I'm not saying this is a better map for Protoss yet. I mean, it's really new, but what's good about this map pool is each map offers a couple new ideas without breaking the game. I talk about this in a YouTube video I did on my channel where I go over the maps. And, you know, before, like, if you look at a map like Sparkle, it's like, okay, this is a wild map. But you took all your creative ideas and then dumped it on one map. And so you have a map that's, like, almost unplayable.
Yeah.
And if it is going to be playable, we might not even know if it is by the end of a season of ASL.
Yeah, yeah.
Where maps like this, they take a couple ideas, like your naturals at your high ground, but your main's on the low ground. And let's see what kind of games this creates. And they change the shape of it. It does have an interesting kind of swirly shape. And I think it makes for some good games. So immediately, Best is going to come in here, charging in with his Zealot. Can he get this SCB? You could, with the Probe maybe even. Oh, he just can't get... Oh, my God, the Probe is a champion.
Probe range is pretty sick.
Yeah.
He does run into that cannon, by the way, so he knows exactly what's going on the other side of the map. And, of course, with that first Zealot going down and seeing, you know, the Vulture and seeing the command center, he knows that he can go directly into robotics from here. So, you know, this early game is going to go exactly that way. And, yeah, there's that Robo. You know, one thing to mention, I've mentioned this a lot, people sometimes wonder about these Forge Fast expansions, right? They are... Basically, it's like a huge probe differential. Like, he'll have about 7 to 8 more workers than Royal. You know, and that's going to be like, that's coming up right now as the command center finishes. That's kind of how you measure it, because both of them will just make workers nonstop. So yeah, right now a big economic advantage for Best, but his tech is slow. So that's the one thing you kind of have going on as Royal, is you don't really have to be afraid of an attack right now. You know, he's going to lay some mines for some containment. He's getting an armory for his upgrades. And this is very likely to be a big macro game.
Yeah. There's really no way for Terran to attack into the Protoss, especially on the high ground, but even with just the cannon, without turning the game into one that's going to be decided in a couple minutes. And if the Terran was to attack that, and I'm only bringing this up because I think a lot of people from even in the modern era all the way back to like the first few years of the game would look at this and go, no, you can't go cannon first. Even on high ground, that's impossible, right? If you were to go for an attack, the Protoss can figure it out pretty fast and just go 3 Gateway Dragoon with no Observer.
Exactly.
And you you kind of, you got to use like your guerrilla strength.
Yes.
You just kind of charge through mines and brute force them down. And by then the game's done because Terran didn't expand. So this is an uncomfortable spot. And you can see now you get the 3 gates in this case after you have the Reaver tech ready to go.
And yeah, he's able to support all this pretty darn well. He does get the shuttle, and he's going to just check this high ground. We did see Ample try a tank drop there. Definitely did not work out very well. But right now, Royal is just like, going as quickly as he can through his upgrades. And look at how much he's skimping on everything. He has those mines out front, so he's like, yeah, we don't need a bunker, we don't need additional Marines, we don't need siege mode, we don't really need anything right now. Can kind of just sit back, and he's even getting an academy to check on what's going on here from Best.
Now look at the mine layout. It's very methodical. The mines can basically see literally any shuttle or anything that leaves. Like, it's kind of crazy. It's almost like when you see Zerglings try to spot for every possible exit. But I love the idea. He's probably getting the Goliath missile upgrade right now, and what he wants to do is just hard counter the shuttle. But I'm sorry, where did the shuttle go? Is that still in the main?
It's sitting at the natural right now, I believe.
Okay.
I think what he's trying to do is, because his tech, his Reaver tech, is at the natural as well. So he wants, if a scan comes, that it looks like Observer Goon rather than a Reaver opener.
Yeah.
If you see the shuttle, you know there's Reaver, right? But scanning the natural, see, he scans that. That doesn't, you can't tell that it's Reaver by scanning that.
3 Vultures are going to run by. Shuttle speed's done. The main base is naked here for Royal.
Yeah.
And Bess is going to come through here. He's going to try to get some SCV kills.
Dude, this is going to be painful. Killing any SCVs here is huge, because don't forget, he was ahead on SCVs throughout this game on workers. So kills about 4 so far, 3 so far. And going to get a pretty reasonable Scarab shot there as well. Will get out, doesn't lose it to that Goliath.
Dragoons are going to
run. An annoying moment.
The Dragoons are going to run into the front now.
Oh, man.
And this is so brutal. Because now the Reaver, it could fire right down the ledge. Oh my God! Oh, he literally did the worst possible move. I think the game would have ended had he not lost the Reaver inside the shuttle. Oh my God. Well, hold on. Dragoons are still coming forward. There's no siege mode, in case you're wondering, because he upgraded the Goliath missile upgrade. That's like the siege mode for the shuttle Reaver. He's going to get the rest of these tanks. And I think the SCVs are just perfectly placed enough that he actually can't kill the that final tank in the background. Siege mode finishes now.
Yeah, the advantage is huge for Best right now, though.
Yeah.
This was a good set of moves. And we got to point out, hiding the shuttle and the Reaver tech at the natural really paid off. The Reaver brought all the units back to main base, then the Dragoons ran up, and he's done a lot of punishing here. Look at this. Kills yet another siege tank.
And, there is a limit here on how much you can actually handle with this. He's going to send the Vultures up here. I think the idea is right. But I see a Vulture coming up when it's like he needs a tank. He needs something that can actually take the Dragoons out. The Vultures are eventually just going to be cleaned up. That part of the map will sort itself out. 2 tanks and a Goliath come. He's at 3 factory, right? Or is he still on 2?
He's at 3. Yeah, he's got 3 factories going. But this is truly terrible. He's lost a lot of workers. His production is low. Like, you really need to have 5 factories started by now. He does have, I'm sure, 2 1s started. So at least he does have those upgrades, But Best, once again, has opened up a Protoss vs. Terran game and gotten very far ahead. Now, is he going to try to use, as you say, Tasteless, his ape power, his gorilla power,
his gorilla strength, yes,
his gorilla strength to try to win this game too quickly? Because I feel like from here, well, the game is not over. Royal's still, he's going to have great upgrades. He's going to get a lot of supply, hopefully. But like, as Best, just don't overextend.
Okay, he surveys the situation. He decides to drop in this very back corner. He fires one shot. It connects on the tank. He can get the tank cleaned off on the third move here. He is, no matter what, going to kill that tank. He does it with style. It's like a pinball game where he shoots it through the depot and the armory, and then it comes out and kills him. That's extra points, just so you know.
Yeah, that Reaver got 2 kills for that one.
Yeah. He gets an extra Reaver shot for free for that.
A lot of gateways being added, setting up some cannons here that mine, causing a little bit of trouble, right? Like those mines doing a great job for him still in this game. Royal is spreading out a bit more Reaver defense now at this point. And he's going to have to start thinking about his third base. Like this is, oh God, he's supply back blocked at 76. That's painful. But there isn't going to be an attack window, right? Like you have to at least max out to have any chance of attacking Best in this game.
Well, right now, Royal, I mean, he's turtled up, and he should be, right? I mean, if he were to move out, Best would just kill him, but Best is going up to that crucial 5 bases. And when Protoss, oh, hold on. Is this just a Storm Drop?
No, I think it's a Reaver.
Oh, okay. What?
Yeah, not entirely sure why
for some reason,
we did that.
I thought the tanks shot down the shuttle for a second, the way it looked. I was like, oh my God, Tastosis, did you know they can hit air too?
Yeah, Tastosis, the splash damage only though, okay? So don't worry, it's not imbalanced. Imagine that, what a world.
Oh, I know. I remember seeing on a BattleNet forum like a million years ago, somebody requesting that. It's Siege mode hit air. And then it was like the funniest post ever about like all this other over-the-top stuff it should do because the guy was roasting the guy who said Siege mode should hit air.
No, that would be insane. The Terran would never lose a game. TVT would get even worse.
Oh, we got a DT.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God! Who needs Stystorm?
Okay. Yeah, that was the most insane mine. I can't even believe it. That's it. It's GG. Like, I tell you what, Tastosis, I've never seen a Terran this dead in my whole life. GG. Holy crap.
Oh, man.
Everything went wrong with that mine. When he laid those and then scanned, because, like, he laid the mines and he scans, I'm like, uh-oh. 2 vultures don't kill this quickly enough. And then Best right-clicks it in just right. Oh, my God.
And the DT goes right into that corner perfectly. I mean, the game was looking pretty grim already there for Royal, but Best played, I think, a really impressive series. I think it was a game that looked initially, excuse me, like any other TVP, but when you peel it back a little bit more, you can see all the mind games Best went through to hide the Reaver tech, and how he managed to get in there and do that damage, then how he managed to push up in the natural with the Dragoons and keep the tanks out. I mean, you know, it's the same rule. If your naturals getting attacked and your tanks are on the low ground, it's the same problem. Very hard to fight that. We're going to go to Polypoid now for map 2.
All right, Polypoid is as standard as you can get. Everyone's played a million billion games here, so I'm hoping for a better game here from Royal. I gotta say, that was a little bit disappointing. He again cuts every single corner. No bunker, no siege mode. It was a tough one.
Okay. Best is in the bottom left. Royal's in the top left. A map that has really been probably the most played map in the last 2 or 3 years. This is a 3-year-old map, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Maybe even 4. I'm sorry, guys. The game's been out for so long now. Now I sometimes second guess some of the more modern
Remaster
history.
came out like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Wild.
So maybe
Time
3 years.
flies.
Maybe 3 years, yeah. But this is, I think, a really clean, uncontroversial map. Even the tile set is pretty standard. This is what, you know, I think when most people think of maps they play games on, they think of, you know, this kind of I think it's called Badlands is the tile set.
Yeah, jungle tile set in Badlands. This is jungle, actually.
Oh, this is jungle? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Badlands is like the one that has more roads on it. It's
Oh,
like
that's right.
Themed.
Yeah, that's right.
God, Tastosis, you don't even know your
I know. I
tile
should not be
sets.
allowed
This
to
is
talk
so
about this
embarrassing.
game. This is
God. Only a Protoss player would know the tile set names.
And this map has created a lot of really interesting games. I think PvT, it's an especially interesting map. It is one where Terran can get up to 5 bases. No matter what map you're on, that's never easy. But, you know, Protoss also has access to 2 other mains. And it goes down very often to these classic 4-player map. I'm sorry, a 4-spawn map. PvTs where, you know, the Protoss will mass up into that huge amount of Tier 1 units with some kind of tech as the icing on top. In the old days, it was Arbiters and sometimes Carriers. Carriers never went away. Arbiters are pretty passé now. Psystorm drop with mass shuttles seems to be the hot meta nowadays. And because of that, people open up Reaver. They try to find openings. Because of that, Terran play pretty conservatively and try to counter and intercept the shuttle and the Reaver. And because of that, the Terran takes a 3rd base later. So there's a real ebb and flow that's pretty different in the matchup compared to, I think, what many people who probably watch this program from the older days, who maybe don't have time to be that active. Everybody else probably remembers just a tank sieging up on a ledge, and then the Terran expands, maybe takes a 3rd, and you hardly interact at all.
Yeah. That's like a funny thing. I've definitely noticed that with a lot of people that just watch the game, where they'll remember Flash always taking a 3rd base at like 7 minutes or something. It's like, no, that literally never happens now. But right now we have a little bit of pressure coming in from Best. He did make that early Zealot, but we have really good SimCity here. And very, very good micro from Royal so far. Beautiful pullback, and the Zealot's going to run away. He did 1 hit to that Marine, and that's about it damage-wise.
Yeah, definitely making the Terran work. He does keep the probe alive as well. 1 Vulture starts, so no add-on just yet. And the Nexus will begin right then and there. Royal's SCV spots it and runs back out. He does not want to commit into the main. He wants to hide that SCV on the map and try to figure out where, when and where he can come back in and scout again.
Bunker coming up, has that Vulture as well. It's got to get that depot down. So, yeah, this is like really, really, really standard stuff that we're watching at the moment. I'm interested to see where Best wants to take this. I imagine he'll just go into Reaver. You know, that is very much the standard. And there's an SCV out on the map. What is this? You know what? He might run down and make a starport hidden. That's kind of a trendy thing right now, is to just like put a random starport out on the map.
What about a factory? Could it be a factory? No, starport. We had some games where Flash would make a factory somewhere on the map and then try to plant some mines, and a lot of times... Go ahead.
Yeah, with these Vulture expands, generally right now at the pro level, you see Protoss kind of seed map presence as the mines are finishing up. And with the mines down, you're kind of doing that containment, like you're getting up to the observer. But when you make a starport this quickly out in the map, you know, you can get that drop into the Protoss main at kind of an unexpectedly early time. So, yeah, this is it is popular right now. I'm not surprised to be seeing this out of Royal. But if Best blocks that well, you know, you are a bit behind on units when you do a build like this.
Whenever you see a drop that's going to come, you got to look at the Protoss's main and see if they walled it off or not. If you can usually wall it off with pylons or whatever tech you have at the bottom, it's easier to recover from. Best's building placement, it's not bad, but it's very different idea-wise. It reminds me of what a lot of people do in PvP, where they rim their base with pylons to basically confirm if any drop comes in, at least you see it, versus the wall-in style, where when it comes, at least you have an avenue to block and maybe buy time.
Yeah, I do have to say I think it's better in PvP, because like if you run against a Reaver, that's really good. Running against Vultures, if they have speed, isn't you're not getting away as much, you know? Like it'll save some, but the Terran can still definitely exact some damage there. So with no Dragoons in that main base, could be a little bit tricky. I like what Royal's doing though, right? Like this is highly optimized as his builds oftentimes are. You know, he's getting upgrades and stuff, and going to be able to drop these first 4 vultures. No doubt tanks going to be made at home as well as that second gas. And if he gets some decent probe damage, he's going to be in a really good spot.
If this is Reaver Tech 2, the first observer is actually already. Oh, this is really good targeting. The first observer is already headed up towards the base, so he has to get that down again. Pretty decent defense, honestly. I mean, you're going to get some probe kills no matter what, but I'm a little bit caught off guard by how well that went. Did he make a Stargate there and then cancel it? I did not see.
So that was a gateway, because if the vultures get behind the mineral lines, you get so much more damage. So that was like a beautiful last-second block there. And that probably saved him 4 or 5 probes, just making that and then canceling. So, yeah, the drop actually did pretty well. And I'm sorry, the dropship got out. Yeah, right? Because I noticed he started targeting vultures right away, which I liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't, then you lose a lot more probes, though you do get the dropship. So nice pick off there. And in the meantime, back at home, Royal just going to be macroing up. He has siege tanks. He has a second gas. Doubtlessly, he has that armory already spinning. And like, I think you're pretty happy as Royal. That went well enough.
Best is going to take his third base. Royal's going to take his second and his third factory. The observer, I mean, Best has been pretty smart with just slipping this observer in a spot where it's going to be hard to be seen. A lot of Terrans stack their factories up in that little area. And I think the game slows down a little bit again. When you see dropship play, you have to go, once again go back and figure out, okay, are you going to make a command center, or is it going to be 5 or more factories? And in this case, it's going to be at least 5 factories. And the reason why is that, you know, when the dropship gets in and kills workers and then it gets back out, it kind of keeps the Protoss in this really afraid, a fearful position. And it allows for Terrans to try to push in and attack again, especially if they can send the dropship in one more time.
Yeah. Also, don't forget, you know, your first 4 units are vultures, right? And you're making... Hey, what did you say? You said yesterday that, like, the dropship plus starport, it is 2 factories that could have been made.
Right, yeah. That's 200 gas.
Yeah, so, I mean, you got to catch up on units a little bit. The 5 fact is, like, always going to be the follow-up after that starport to just kind of get those units out. But will he go for a command center, or will he go for some sort of timing attack? I think that's the big question we're looking at.
And, I mean, a lot more gates are coming down now. Reaver's out. I like the delayed Reaver tech.
Looks like a 4th base going to be taken over in that 6 o'clock position. And, of course, that one is, like, very, very hard to attack. The Reaver going up the map right now. Looks like it will fly kind of over a mine. And the dropship coming back over. I think see those 2 vultures that were trying to run down? I think he wanted to try to pop 2 into the main base real quick. This is a great thing to do, is, like, leave the dropship inactive for a couple minutes, then just kind of randomly drop some vultures somewhere.
Yeah, you're going to really force the Protoss to get back, because they're not going to get a Corsair or a Scout or something to kill that, so they have to get it with Dragoons, and that's always a headache, trying to chase anything down with Dragoons. The shuttle does spot the dropship moving out once more, but again, it doesn't seem like there's any real opening. I mean, the spread from Best is pretty crazy, but you know, when you spread like this, if that 2-base push comes in, it's kind of hard to deal with. He does manage to get this in here.
Ooh, the vultures kind of screw up on each other with the mines. I hate it when that happens. But very good SimCity. It looks like he's not going to end up killing any probes, so a perfect block there against that harassment, but not that expensive for Royal to do either.
He doesn't see another command center. I don't see a command center. Do you see a command center at Tastosis? Because it looks like this is just getting closer and closer to that big 2-base push we were talking about.
I think he is going to make a command, though. I saw an SCV in the position you normally make a command center in. So I guess we'll see in a moment. But, like, oh, he is adding more factories, isn't he? Okay, maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe this is going to be just that 2-base push. Dude, these Terrans are digging these 2-base pushes.
Well, it could be scary to deal with. Did that connect? Oh, my God.
Did it?
I don't know. Like we pulled the camera away just before it happened. Is there a cannon in the main, by the way?
No, there is not. And he flies right in. Look at this. Even siege tank in there. So annoying. Oh, 6 kills with that one volley.
So he's going to be unloading over here to get this killed off. But of course, the dropship can pick up again. And whenever you know that there's a big push that's coming to end the game, it's so scary when this starts to happen. By the way, Best did not transfer probes over to his 4th base.
Oh, man. Well, maybe he doesn't have any probes to transfer anymore with the amount of harassment that's been put out here. A 6th factory is ready. Okay, he did finally get that 3rd command center as well. Getting ready to take this additional base. Oh, did he get cloak? Actually, I didn't notice.
Oh, he's got to be careful. The Wraiths, one gets shot down. A Wraith will die to Dragoons so hilariously fast.
Yeah.
And I think that from here, he wants to try to do a bust. He's got to be careful. He's got to pick that Reaver up. He's got to pick that Reaver up.
Oh,
man. You know, the Reaver really, it changes the math so much. Now, let's not forget, if there's anybody who knows how to trounce a Terran in a position like this, it's Best.
Yeah.
He breaks everybody.
He has a kind of a scary army. Look, those Vultures leaving, this is the opportunity. You should not be sending 12 Vultures out right now, to be perfectly honest. Like, this is... Well, Best actually moves to intercept rather than to attack. Ooh, that was a big mine. Okay, he lays the mines here, but really, like, I think if Best had just attacked him with everything, as soon as he saw those 12 Vultures move, those tanks would be dead, and he'd have this game.
There's a lot of Vultures, and I don't think the 3rd base has anything other than a cannon. Maybe even 2. Yeah, I mean,
12 Vultures don't care at all.
Yeah, they can completely ignore that. They're going to get every single probe kill. For a second, he almost turns on to the cannon itself. And now he can probably go down here towards 6 o'clock and take out the workers here as well. If he can make his mind up.
He's having a hard time with the AI there. The Vulture's kind of glitching out as he's clicking around. I feel like Best is playing very indecisively here. I feel like most of the time we would have seen him attack there, and he did not. Like, he had an opportunity. You should not be rotating that amount of Vultures at that supply level. Look at this. These are like the most naked tanks I've ever seen. He finally is going to attack.
Big unloads here. So many Zealots on top of these tanks. The Dragoons are getting pulled back into because of the barracks. The Zealots just continuing to completely rush. Oh my God. I mean, he's just wiping all the tanks out. I don't know that Royal can actually recover from this.
No, he's dead.
That was all the tanks that he had.
That was everything. Dude, it took him a really long time to do that push. He could have done that push instantly when those Vultures moved out, and it would have actually ended the game because there was not units up on the high ground. So I got to tell you, I'm not impressed with Royal here today. He's getting completely smashed. It's like he's trying to do these optimized builds. His opener in this game was really good. He got it, like, the build order was good, the execution was good, but what are we doing running 12 Vultures out in the map, you know, when your opponent is sitting outside your base with this many units? I don't know. And now he's got nothing. He has nothing. He's making 2 siege tanks at a time. Like, you kill that many siege tanks early on, you have this many, like, Best is getting a 5th Nexus.
Yeah, and Best is actually expanding towards him now, too. That's when you know that Protoss is dominating, is when you're like, no, I could definitely expand right towards the only 3rd base the Terran could take. And, you know, there's only 2 add-ons on 2 of the factories here, which means you can only make tanks in 2s. That's why it's such a big deal when you see that much stuff killed off.
Yeah.
It's because that's when you know, like, all right, there's just no way to ever have that many tanks again. And Protoss can easily kill tanks with Zealot Dragoon. So you're seeing it happen once again. He just killed 2 rounds. That's a whole round of tanks that comes out of the factory. He kills the 3rd off here. He's probably going to dive in again with some more Dragoons and just do it once more. He's got shuttles. He's got Storm ready.
He's got everything he needs. Look at that. You're going to get another one with that size Storm. Every Terran has played this exact game that Royal's in right now, where you can't get out of your natural, and there's like speedlots and storms, and there's no spread that's going to do it. Best is going to kill him. Royal is going to be eliminated from this ASL.
He's going to try to come out once more, but the walls really are closing in. I don't see an exit. I don't see an off-ramp. And this game is going, I think, straight into Best's hands. Another tank goes down. 2 more left. Zealots drop. A third tank's coming down from above. And the shuttles.
The Zealots getting on top of everything here. I think we're about to see the GG, the final GG of the season from Royal, as he is not even going to win a game tonight. Just being completely dominated by both Action and Best. And there it is. Yeah. Best's going to go on to that final match against Action. I wasn't expecting a big PVZ to finish this group out, but that's exactly what it's going to be.
Poor Royal. He really got a beat down there. Best really played out of his mind. It seems like Best was a little bit reluctant to try to dive in after what happened in his game against Sharp, but I think once he got everything where it needed to be, 4 shuttles with speed and Zealots inside, I mean, that's so tough. That's so, I mean, what do? I mean, they're just unloading Zealots right on top of everything that you've got. And of course, the Dragoons come right in behind that to kill the Vultures off. We just have one more match left.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one, too. Like, I was kind of thinking we were going to have just, like, Terran matchups all night long after those first 2 maps, but Best doing a great job here and is going to be going up. Of course, this is actually later on, right? Like, he's kind of blocking these Vultures. The Vultures did some harassment at that third base. But, like, this is fundamental. You look, oh man, his army setup is terrible. He's got all the Vultures behind the tanks. Royal didn't play well tonight. He's better than what we looked at tonight.
Yeah, but better than what we saw tonight isn't going to cut it, man. Best just killed him. And this is going to be a fun one coming up. Best in Action.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But it's kind of wild to watch Royal get absolutely bodied with these, like, poor unit positioning, sending out too many Vultures. It's, you know what's weird about tonight, Tasteless? None of the games have actually felt very close. Everything's kind of been people getting wrecked.
It's been one-sided long games.
Yeah.
It really has been. This is going to be a fun one. I'm very, very excited to see who's going to come out and take this. You can see Best has a lot of fans here in the audience. He's been playing for so long. He's been in the round of 8 before. And, of course, with Action, I mean, what if Action doesn't make it to the round of 8? Oh, my God, that sounds weird to say. Short break, guys. When we come back, the final best of 3 here in the round of 16.
똑같은 하루에서 답답함을 빼면 더 청량해질 거야. 제로처럼. 우리 없어도 되는 건 빼고 살자. 칠성사이다 제로.
우주급 텐션 최고의 토킹 핫식스 토킹.
청량한 이 순간 칠성사이다로부터 칠성사이다.
We had 16 players in this phase of the tournament. We're down to only 2. And now only 1 will move on. The other's going to be knocked out. And these are 2 of the biggest names in the ASL. It's Best versus Action.
Yeah, these guys are both definitely round of 8 competitors at least. You know, I think both of them have played well tonight, but Action... Well, Action's loss against Sharp is kind of heartbreaking. I do feel like this should be Sharp against Best right now, but maybe a little bit harder for Best. But I feel like Best has good PvZ nowadays.
You know what's funny, Artosis? When we were summarizing the last series, I said, so that means up next it's going to be Best versus Action. And I actually went, no. I like stopped myself because I thought, no, it's Sharp losers. And then I thought for another second, I went, no, Action did lose. I still hadn't accepted it yet.
Yeah. It's hard to accept. It's surprising that Sharp won the group, but here Best is trying to balance out that round of 8. I'm rooting for him. But Action is a tough character. He mixes in 3-hatch Hydra with his standard macro play quite a bit.
Okay, we're going to Tempest for map 1. Let's not forget those high ground expands. What kind of role is that going to play here and how the Protoss is going to play it? And will Action, who's been known, by the way, to be very aggressive in this matchup when he needs to, how is he going to handle it? No turning back now, guys. This is that final best of 3, the round of 16. And after this, it's on into the round of 8 of the ASL. We have Action in the top left. We've got Best in the very bottom left. We mentioned it at the very start of the show in the first game of this Group D. And I'm going to mention it once more here, the final series of Group D. If you want to support us in our endeavors to keep the history of StarCraft 1 alive forever, please consider signing up for our Patreon, patreon.com/ASL English.
Yeah, thank you, everyone who has already signed up. You guys are the best, helping us keeping this going. If you haven't done it yet, you're still thinking about it. Guys, we're only like halfway through the season, right? So go check it out, patreon.com/ASL English.
On into this game. There's, I think, no world where the Protoss doesn't fast expand, right? There are games where you can play it where you don't. And, we've seen Mini and even Snow at times have success with that. But this is a map where it's so tempting to fast expand because of that high ground advantage. You can hold a base and probably have to make less cannons if they were even foolish enough to try to Hydra bust you.
Yeah. It's funny because we keep pointing that out, and then we've had games that's happened. We've had sunken busts by Terran. These things that shouldn't work, they still can. But I think Action is not the type of player to take that type of risk.
I think what we saw is that in theory it doesn't work, but in application they don't know how to quite balance that out. So the attacks succeed anyways. But I think, give this map a couple more weeks of people grinding games out on it, and it probably will go away.
You're probably right on that. Now, one thing to mention, we saw that stat right at the beginning, that Best actually has a pretty big winning record in ASL against Action. And funnily enough, Action, he's not, I wouldn't call him a ZVT specialist, but his Zerg vs. Protoss is his lowest win rate in this matchup.
What is happening here? He went Forge first. What is happening here?
He's faking a cannon rush, I think.
But how can you even cannon rush here? Where would you put the cannon?
Well, you wouldn't. But, I mean, you still have to take it seriously, right?
Oh, okay. You mean just like he's trying to go down there like, aha, I'm going to make a... It's 1998. I'm making a cannon next to your base.
Exactly. It's like you have to send a drone to see. It's annoying, but, like, you must do it.
Well, it's going to be Pylon... Wait a minute. Pylon, Forge, Nexus, Pylon, and not Gate. That's funny.
Hell yeah. Get those probes. Get those probes, Best. I always enjoy seeing a build like that, where it's like, wait, what? Like, how much are you putting everything back right now? Okay, let's just optimize to get as many workers out as is possible. It's such a big part of the game. But it looks like he does go Gateway, and now finally going to throw a cannon down to make sure he does not die to any Zerglings running across the map. In the meantime, Action takes another natural. So what that really screams to me is that he's going to play a macro game.
Yeah, this is it's been around for some time now, but the turtling Zerg who takes another natural. Obviously, the main of that natural is always free once you secure it. And so it's a way to really disengage from the Protoss. The Protoss has to try to figure out how to push through. And, we've talked about it a lot, but it's true on this map as well. Protoss have a very hard time pushing up a natural with, Dragoons and Storm if they're on the low ground. And so Action's going to do, I think, what he is maybe the very best at in the entire world is just play a turtle style versus Protoss.
Yeah. You know, I normally think of Sulky and Larva when it comes to this specific base layout, but
Sure.
Action is incredibly good at those late games. Like, I think that's really where he shines, probably brighter than anybody. So if he can get into that later tech, then that's going to be great for him. But the thing is, if you're not keeping pretty heavy pressure on Best, he's going to macro up like crazy, right? And I'm trying to think, and none of Best's late game Protoss vs. Zerg games are really coming to me off the top of my head. Does he have a particular style? Like, is he a guy that'll spread Reavers around and play that kind of defensive game, or is he like a pushing guy? What, do you know?
I think he's got a pretty big range. When I do poke my head in to see how his games are going, it seems like he's got quite a wide range. He's very good at pushing, for one. I mean, it's kind of like when you see him bust down Terrans, like he's built to do that. He does have a lot of cheesy builds that he's done, and I didn't even realize he just had to remove the minimap. This is double Stargate, and this is kind of a cheesy move. You know, it's to be expected that they're going to go Muta from this initially, because the Mutas can help defend everything in case somebody drops, and drops are tempting for the Protoss. But Best is going to basically try to hard counter, in fact, you know, hard blind counter Mutalisks. And so you always show the first Corsair. There's nothing alarming about that, but you'll pull everything else after that. And the idea is that you can blindside the Zerg, strong-arm them into killing all of their Scourge and Mutas, and then you kill all the Overlords and you gridlock them out of production.
Well, you know, if any map should be good for 2 Stargate Corsair, it seems like this one should. You know, like, just the fact that it's so hard to bust that natural with the cannons on the high ground. You know, that's oftentimes how we see 2 Stargate Corsair lose, is a big Hydra attack before Psystorm is ready.
Right.
But honestly, if you just add some cannons in there, like shooting uphill, it's just it becomes very tough for Zerg to pull that off. So, very much like the choice from Best if you're going to go for this build. A great map for it.
And Action is just getting Scourge, which is, you know, the more standard, safe way to play. You have Scourge to scout with. If you can catch Corsairs, you will, and you're looking for the tech. Now, he kills one. Oh, why did you show that?
Knows.
He knows. Well, that's it.
Well, as long as he looked,
that.
yeah. 4 Corsairs, you're not like, wow, you must be chrono boosting that. No, this is StarCraft 1. Not going to be the case, but he's turtling up pretty heavy. I think that we just saw an evolution chamber there. Yeah, and he's making spores, so that shows that he is completely aware. He's like, oh, no, this is too many Corsairs. Let's get those spore colonies up. Look at that double spore. I love it. I love it, man. Action is so good.
Yeah, well, he just knows how to deal with this. Now, I can already hear, I sense you. I'm like Professor Xavier, and I can hear all your thoughts at once that are watching this, and you're all asking me about D-Web right now. I don't think so. I don't think so. But let's see. If D-Web is the way, then Best will show us. But I think people don't realize how much the building to get the upgrade for that costs.
Yeah, it costs as much as 2 Corsairs, and then you got to get D-Web, and D-Web costs 125 mana. That's a lot of mana, guys. It takes a long time to get up to. So anyways, comes in and doesn't care about everything. He actually kills off the Scourge, he kills off multiple Overlords, and still has a good clump of 5 Corsairs left.
Yeah, there's a point when you get that +1 attack, you can kind of force everything with them. And now he's going to come to the other side of the map, and there really isn't very much here.
Well,
and so he's going
to continue the supply blocks. How annoying here for Action.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary, and you know, not all these Overlords are even protected. He gets another free one over here. And this is that kind of gridlock I was talking about, where you never get to elevate your supply because the Overlords keep getting killed, and then the money starts to pile up. And it can be pretty rough. Oh my gosh. Can he actually pull this off?
He will get some connections here. You definitely can't outrun all of those. And, you know, I hope that Action can kind of pull this game together a little bit. It feels like Best is dominating a bit right now, but definitely doesn't have anything for like a killing move.
No, not yet. He's going to send these zealots up here. I mean, these are slow zealots, but what is he doing?
I don't know. I'm wondering the same thing here. I was hoping you would tell me, Tastosis. He slowly walked 5 zealots across the map at 9 minutes and walked past the sunken colony, which is the only defense here against ground units.
I guess the truth is he can basically just keep these back here. You would have to like sunken colony push it or something if you wanted to even deal with it. What Action wants to do is go into mass cracklings, I think. I think he's probably getting melee attack and armor. Now, in the main, he's dropping DTs, but with the sunken colony and the Zerglings, I don't think that he can actually get anything done. And that's all because the Spore covers the Overlords, and the Spore can detect as well.
Yeah, that's kind of cool to see him get that much static D right off the bat. I'm really a fan of this type of play. He did get a very quick carapace upgrade as well for these Zerglings. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe he is just kind of rushing up towards his cracklings. I think I saw some interesting builds like that in the past. You know, I remember one thing that was mentioned, like a big part of the reason why people go quick +1 on their Zealots is to prevent a Zergling-based defense as they tech up. Because it's like, if you can go, like, for instance, directly into Zergling Lurker, that would, in theory, be so unbelievably strong. So I wonder if that's kind of the idea Action has here with all this defense.
I'll tell you, man. Like, when I stream StarCraft, usually the games look pretty normal, but every once in a while I get a game that looks like this. I still don't know how to fight this. I know that Zealot Archon is supposed to beat it. I know that Reavers blow up Zerglings. But there's a point where they just get enough cracklings, and you're trying to expand, and they're counterattacking. It's so brutal.
I can imagine. It's like Archon, Reaver, Storm Zealot. Hey, he does have double Reaver, actually. I hadn't noticed that. But he is going ahead with a sunken, or a push on this sunken up the ramp. He gets rid of it. Dude, this is quite the anti-Zergling army that we're looking at.
Yeah, well, he got the Reavers pretty early. And now the sunk goes down. And, you know, maybe he just wins here. Oh, look at this. He's going to go for the Spore, too.
Oh, my God. He is dealing so much damage right now. A lot of Zerglings coming out for a flank. He has kept that Archon in the back very, very healthily. But I think Best is getting unbelievably ahead here. I think he's just going to win.
Well, it seems like the harass paid off. I mean, Action was slowed down quite a bit. These Reavers are just still here. As long as these Reavers are here and the Zealots and the Archons can run defense for him, it's going to be really tough to actually get through here. And, you know, if you lose one of these naturals, you lose the main and you lose the game. Mutas are being hatched. I get the idea, but Corsairs are still a threat.
Yeah, do you start making more Corsairs here? I don't know that it really matters all that much, just because the amount of damage dealt already is immense. Ling's coming up once again. Best showing why maybe this is not a good idea. I can't believe how hard he's crushing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the Sunks are going to come down here. You know, Zealots can just beat Sunken colonies. You need a little bit more in the way to help out. There's still a Reaver back here. There's still an Archon, actually 2 Archons back here. And, I mean, this just seems like Action should tap out, because Action's going to have 2 bases that he's camping on, and he's going to have to reset all of his tech. Is that a Nidus being made? What is that?
I don't know. Maybe a hatchery?
Could
Maybe
be.
it's finally time to get some other tech here as well. Oh, man, the Archon just demolishing the Mutalisks and drones attacking it. Those are the last things you want to try to kill an Archon with, that's for sure. 18 kills on that thing already. Look at this, continuing to kill even more. Zealots pouring in. I think it's just a matter of moments here before we get a GG out of Action. He's just
like
going to have to try it better in Game 2.
Yeah, looks like he'll finally kill that Archon off, but I think that the damage has already been done. The Zealots can just keep trickling in here. They can basically ignore the Mutalisks, by the way. Mutas don't deal damage that fast.
And, you know, I guess the Mutas, maybe they end up killing the Zealots off. Like, maybe he can definitely save the Hive. I don't know about this other hatchery. Looks like this other hatchery just barely going to go ahead and fall. More Zealots coming in here as well. But, yeah, he's probably making Corsairs at home, right? Which makes these Mutas even worse. There's 4 bases for Best. I'm kind of surprised Action's still playing, honestly.
Same.
Like, I am surprised he's still in this, but I think he's one of the less emotional players, so maybe this is okay, where he's not going to get super frustrated. He's just like, oh, you know, I have 2 saturated bases over here. Oh God, 3 Stargate. He needs to go scout stasis. That's what we need to see.
That's what we need, man. I would love that.
It is a +2 carapace, flyer carapace.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing is Protoss don't usually get more upgrades on the Corsairs. Like, you're not
you
like...
have to get the Fleet Beacon to get any more. And
yeah,
that's,
exactly.
That's like so expensive, like you mentioned.
Yeah, then somebody's like, that's why he had to go D-Web. He could have used that and had the armor attack +2 and the D-Web upgrade.
Yeah. Think about the value.
Yeah, and I'm just there like Professor Xavier holding my head like, ah!
Well, if Professor Xavier had to answer people's stupid StarCraft ideas, he would have been the villain, and Magneto would be trying to stop him.
He's like, no,
That's
no,
for
you
sure.
can't use ghosts like that. Ah! So the Reaver's going to drop it over here. He's targeting more drones, and the shots are connecting.
Action still trying to make something happen. He's actually making Sunkens over in his old main base and sending Zerglings up to try to save that. His Muta's not going to fare too well anymore here either. Looks like he will hold on to his main base still. More Mutas coming with these Scourge. Dude, 3 Stargate Corsair isn't enough apparently. It looks like he will clear this.
Yeah, he takes that out. And you know, you got to be a little bit careful here as best. You really need to keep all the Corsairs alive. It is a cumulative thing where eventually you have enough they obliterate anything that they look at. I would love to see that Hive go down for best to close this out. I think we've all had these games where we're winning, but maybe our mental pacing kind of slows down. And, you know, Action's not a guy you want to sleep on.
That's true. That's true. Hey, if he ends up getting +3 carapace, those Corsairs are basically going to be healing the Mutas as they attack. So maybe there is comeback potential here still. He's got a lot of Mutas, man.
He does. Now, I mean, does he have the amount where he can overpower this? By the way, Dark Archons wouldn't hurt. Those 2 DTs that were running up there, why don't you get 2 or 3 Dark Archons?
Yeah, of course the Archons themselves going to be very hard to actually engage at all. The Observer just keeps showing us, hey, he is making those Corsairs. We'll see if he gets up to enough for that. I do wonder if +3 carapace is on the way, because he does have the Hive still. So, yeah,
well,
I mean, he's going to kill the space stasis. This base is going to die.
I mean, don't count your chickens before they hatch.
I guess. Dude, if Best loses this game, we're not getting a second Protoss, okay? Like, you can't lose from this type of position and then win the match, I think. Because, like, we were actually calling it. You know, like, this was super done when he was losing his main base.
Yeah.
He lost, like, all of his tech as well, and now it's just been rebuilt at the other location. Dude, he's mining from his main base again. He's got a lot of vision. He's got a super mobile army right now.
Thing is, there's nothing to stop him from just taking the Zealot Archon and killing off the top left. And Hive reset tech, I mean, it is a big deal. The Zerg will probably not be able to expand over to that location again. And, you know, Protoss can expand again to 6 or try to expand over into the 9 o'clock spot.
What a crazy game. What a crazy game. I feel like at this point you're like committing so heavily to Corsair, it's maybe the only thing that matters. You know, if you get enough to kill the Mutas. Oh, yeah, that's so many Corsairs. Oh
no,
my God.
dude, is Best going to lose this game?
I don't know. He was going to kill top left, and now he's turned around to save this third base. Dude, his natural is empty. His main is empty. He lost his fourth.
He's almost lost his Nexus.
He needs to be a little bit more careful. Now, the thing is, he's up 65 supply, okay? This should not be losable still. Wait, is this all the Corsairs dying? Oh,
no,
okay.
there's more. Well,
like,
hold on.
How did that happen? That was awfully fast.
Well, dude, I mean, he's down to, I think, 5 again. Oh, my God. This is hard to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, Zerg's just harassing him enough. The Mutas might even try to just dive bomb on the... No, there's too many Corsairs.
Yeah, with the Archons as well, it's a little bit tough. Adding some cannons. You know, the Nexus is pretty badly hurt. If you were to, like, walk away with the, like, let's say you flew the Reaver somewhere, you might just see Zerglings run up and right-click it and kill it in, like, a matter of seconds. You know, they deal damage really quickly. He does have +2 on those Cracklings. That's crazy.
The Zerglings are going to be mowed down by these Zealots. There are still Scourge here. I assume +3 is done, by the way, for armor on the
yeah, it wasn't a little bit ago.
Oh,
okay,
no.
It's still not done.
My bad, everybody.
It feels like it every time they have an engagement against the Corsairs. Oh, maybe that was the little bit that was needed to put this over the top into best favor.
He caught those mutas like they were dodgeballs, man.
Yeah.
Mutas came and he just caught it. He's like, "You're out."
Oh my god, that's a lot of Archons. Now, what a weird-looking game this has been, but it actually has turned so fun at this point. You know, there's a lot of Lings out on the map. There's a lot of mutas. There is still 3 base here for action, but Best is retaking his 4th. Now, is he going to have enough here to save this Nexus?
I think he's okay. Yeah, that's it. GG. Okay. I'll tell you what, man. Sometimes winning those games like that could be more damaging than anything
Yeah,
else.
you can
You're
see
like,
the look
my
on his
God,
face.
yeah.
It's like, how did I actually almost start to lose
Like,
that game?
I'm so much better than this. I can't believe I let the game go to that point. Couple ideas. Dark Archons, totally acceptable. You know, when there's mutas just flying around or Scourge, just catch them and kill them. Archons and Zealots are fine, but, you know, he just didn't have enough to protect his Nexuses. And, I mean, he almost lost his only Nexus that had minerals. Kind of crazy.
Yeah. It was very, very close. If he hadn't turned around, if he had, you know, gone on that hive, maybe he loses. I'm not sure. It's what a wild game, though. Seriously. Now, Best does lead 1-0. Hopefully, he can get that train wreck of an ending out of his mind and play well here. Because if he wins one more map, he goes on to that round of 8, and we have a perfectly balanced round of 8.
That's right. Action definitely miffed after that game. I thought he put up a good fight. Honestly, if I were him, I'd be like, God, I'm so sick. You see what I almost did to him? I'm like terrified.
Yeah,
we should just make it the round of 9 and he just gets a bye somewhere in there. We're going to go to Invader now. Proxy gates? I don't think so. I don't think he'll proxy gate.
No.
Nobody's proxy
I think we'll
gating
see a
lately.
standard game. Hey, dude, Best is good PvC. Maybe not the end of that game, but otherwise.
But this entrance is weird. Two entrances and a PvZ. Woo! Halloween's next month. Let's get into game 2. Action in the top left, Best in the bottom right.
You mentioned the 2 entrances. I did see a SimCity in the bottom right, at least. I haven't seen a lot of PvZs here, but I saw a SimCity that reminded me, like, the buildings kind of went in a diagonal way.
Okay.
And so it looked a little bit more like Heartbreak Ridge wall-ins.
Okay.
You know how they, like, use the gas there, and it, like, looks too wide to wall, but it's actually okay. Like, that's what I've seen on this map before, so I think we'll probably have that type of building placement, that it just is kind of a regular wall, but it looks funny.
Now, some action support here. Oh, look at his little cat. He's so cute. Now,
well, who are you rooting for now, Tastosis? The cat owner or the Protoss player?
This Protoss player is dead to me. So, PvZ, you know, again, this map, late game, I'm not really sure what it's going to look like. I do like the asymmetry of it. And so, I'm very interested in how this is going to be approached. It is going to be, I guess, a Forge expand, or maybe just a Nexus right away. A Nexus to come in there and say, are you making a pool? Okay, then I'm going to go Nexus on 12.
Yeah, looks like it. And I tell you, you said you enjoy the kind of asymmetry of this map. I think that this is a very cool 3-player map design. You know, we had Eclipse for a long time, and a lot of people say that might be the best 2-player map ever, because it was a pretty good map, I think. It gave very interesting games. But I think actually Invader might be a step up on it. The way that the attack paths are a little bit further out, because Eclipse oftentimes would just turn into games where like the 2 main attack paths, it's like one army goes down one army goes down the other. You can't really do that here, but there's still a lot of maneuvering. And I think that actually makes it, I think that makes it a lot more interesting, because when it just becomes a counterattack game, it's a little bit silly, whereas here it's like you actually have a lot of things that you got to weigh. And like the ease of the 3rd base that's right above your natural compared to like there's more bases in the bottom left, and then the top right is kind of the one that you don't know who anyone gets and that type of thing. I don't know. I am so far really liking Invader, watching, playing, everything.
Yeah, I think it's a very welcome addition. I also like how much, you know, the light gray platform is cut off from the dark gray platform. Like, you really have 2 completely different games that can go on each side of the map, cutting it in half diagonally from top left to bottom right. So, best goes for Pylon Gate. I think actually Pylon. Pylon, Nexus. What is it? Forge, Pylon,
Cannon, Gate, something like that. Yeah, I think you're right on that.
Man, I wasn't sure if we were going to make it through that build order. Tastosis pinned 2 of us. It's like, oh man, we really made this pretty tough for ourselves.
By the way, the diagonal wall I saw, I guess maybe it wasn't as good as I thought it was when I saw it, because he's just going straight across. So, like, there is an entrance for Speedlings. If he was playing against 815, we'd be starting Game 3 right now.
Yeah. It's been one little funny thing that's happened in the round of 16 is some kind of questionable walls on Invader that have gone unpunished.
Oh yeah, that sharp wall, right? That was kind of wild. And then I'm not so sure about this one.
He's going to go for a Hydra Den.
Well, I did mention, you know, Action, he plays a lot of macro games, but he actually mixes in 3-hatch Hydra a strong amount against Protoss. I think the build is just too undeniably good, right? So right now, Best has like nothing on the map. He's not even trying to scout. He doesn't send out a second probe. Look at all these Lings that are just going to walk around the other way and just walk up this empty corridor with a cannon so far away. He's going to lose like 1 Ling and get like 10 Lings in the main.
This looks
Best
like
isn't even going to know there was a Hydralisk 10 because he's going to die to these Lings.
Like Best didn't like ban this map at his veto thing for ladder. He's like, I don't know what he doesn't even realize this is a ramp that things can go up and down over here.
I know. Dude, it's actually true. I can't even believe this. Like, we talked about that, and it's like, no, I mean, you have to have a plan for that. And then they just run up, and it's like, what? Like, that alone, this alone, you could be going into a macro play, and you're going to win. But he's following it up with 3-hatch Hydra.
This is so bad.
Dude, these games today. It's actually so funny to me. Because, like, it's been entertaining, but they've been very one-sided games. And I'm looking at this, it's like, how did you not account for the second ramp?
I know. It's just wild, man.
Like, this is so... It's the first thing you see when you look at the map is that there's 2 ramps there.
I know. It's crazy.
These are professional gamers.
He wasn't even blocking it. He's like, no, they don't come that side.
Dude, these are... the pro gamers in this group, man, these are the Comcast employees of professional gaming. Like, are you guys even trying here? How are you doing these shit walls and, like, not accounting for the base features of any
I know,
map?
there's not even zealots to meet the Zerglings if they ran up. They're just like...
I know, it's so much. He doesn't send a second probe is what really gets me, Tasteless. When you lose that probe, there's always another probe that comes out. Like, well, I better check.
Also,
nope, not in this game.
This is the most common build, probably in ASL, is the Hydra Bust. So
yeah,
it's not like, wow, well, he really used the wild card in the card deck.
So now he's gonna lose everything because his cannons are attacking eggs.
That's so funny.
Does he think he gains experience from those eggs? If he kills them, they're going to drop an item for his hero? Like,
no.
Oh, dude, now the Zealots are going to walk out. Every time these Zealots walk out, man, you miss +1 by 3 seconds. Every time. I don't even know why Protoss do it anymore. It's like the dumbest thing I've ever seen, man. Oh, my God.
When you lose it, then you have to just frown and go back and make 2 more forges while you lose the game before they finish.
Yeah. And you got to make sure you lose 4 or 5 Zealots or they all get in the red. Like, it's just so... he's trying to warp in more cannons, but his economy has been hurt from that Zergling run-in and not looking too hot for Best right now.
Yeah, we should see the dive in now. There it is. Without the gateway to block, it becomes a lot easier to micro these. He's doing a really good job splitting his damage.
Yeah, that was a good pro ball, though. It kind of made it hard for all the Hydras to get an attack exactly what they wanted. More cannons are on the way, but more Hydras are on the way here as well. And he's just going to run in once again. The probe's not ready to block that one.
Yeah.
Gets 2 more, and that's going to be game tasteless.
The funny part is when you get to watch how long it takes for a cannon to warp in after it's done, where it's like, this is just not enough time. Will you please just finish so we can actually kill this thing?
Yeah, it's actually... It's honestly teasing when the graphic of the cannon starts to show. It shouldn't show that early, because it makes you think it might be ready to fire soon. It's not.
Yeah. The build time of the cannon is a lie. Bit of an embarrassing moment there for Best. I mean, look, I don't know. I'm glad we had a good chuckle from it, but...
Dude, yeah.
I mean, that is the big feature of the map. That's the first thing you notice. Protoss players look at that map and have to figure out a way to wall.
Yeah.
Have to figure out a way to play it out. And look, I mean, people win StarLeagues with Ling run buys all the time. It's not, I mean, on maps where you have 1 entrance and not 2. So can you really blame Action for doing it? It's not like Action's whole plan was to just not have Best wall in.
Yeah,
he didn't go in Invader saying, I hope my opponent makes a mistake, and if I do, I'm gonna maybe go to the round of 8. We're going to go to Dark Origin, and we better see a better game from Best. Otherwise, it's Action moving right on up to the round of 8.
Well, he had a great beginning of game 1, and since then it's been downhill. Let's go into game 3. Are we going to get that second Protoss?
Okay, this is it, the last game of the entire round of 16. It's Action in the top left. It's Best in the bottom right. It's going to be on the map Neo Dark Origin. We always say this on this map, but control of the center is key. You have 3 bridges you have to get across just outside of your natural expansion. And we all know it's not easy to get large groups of units across small bridges.
That is, yeah.
Yeah. There's also a pathway into your main from the very back. It reminds me a little bit of Neo Destination, for those of you, pre-StarCraft 2. It is, that avenue is not explored that often, but they did throw it in there. So we'll see if someone does something crazy there.
Yeah, I think it's mostly utilized. Terran versus Zerg and Protoss versus Terran. Don't really see it in this matchup very much. Getting like 1 key unit over there, the timings don't really work out for anything to actually do damage. So,
right,
pretty unlikely to see, but who knows? Yeah, I guess we're gonna go into Forge once again. Okay,
Forge is fine. It is a Forge without. Without a scout after pylons, so that's interesting. I wonder what the deal is with that.
Maybe
to be
just
honest with you,
2-player map.
Yeah, that could be it as well. To be honest, I don't know the Forge, the lines of the Forge play that well. I've actually only just started trying to mess around with it in my stream to see if I can just kind of build that into my knowledge base. But he's going to come in here and see that the pool is starting late. So he's not thinking, oh, there's no hatchery. He knows that the hatchery has to be somewhere else and likely at where the 3rd is normally taken.
Yeah, and, that's going to slow him down from being able to do whatever it is he wanted to do. Like, you think he may have tried a cannon rush if the hatchery had been at the natural?
I think so. I think if you look at the third base, there's nowhere to rush with a cannon rush, I think. But there is room behind the minerals. I think with a lot of the new maps, they've reintroduced the option for cannon rushes. For a little bit, they just started making maps where Protoss couldn't do it, which is fine. It just forces the Protosses to do something else. But
well, if you have no buildable tiles behind the mineral patches, it actually messes up Terran vs. Zerg a little bit as well. Occasionally,
that's
you
a
need
good
to put
point.
a turret back there. So, like, not always, but like, you kind of need it, you know. So, yeah, happy to see that kind of return to the newer maps.
I think it's also fun to have these suspenseful rushes that each of the races can do against each other. I think if you don't have games where you can have really cool, exciting rushes, you just don't have a very good game.
No, yeah, it's so true. It's like, I think that is something that we see as a problem sometimes, where like, you know, very oftentimes you just won't have any action for like 3 minutes, you know. And
yes,
if you set it up correctly, like the beginning game of your RTS, it's like, okay, well, you could though. You know, like in StarCraft 1, there's all sorts of rushes that could already be well underway. Not this game, but, you know, it's an option, so there's more variety.
So the Zealot is going to come out, and he's going to put pressure on this. Whenever you see Forge expand, it's really common for the first Zealot to be sent out. It's a very different pacing from the Gate expand, but the ideas are still the same. You're trying to force Zerglings. You're trying to stay active and engaged with the opposing player on the map. If you can get trades, if you can wedge the Zealot somewhere, like in between two minerals, where it's going to be just much more difficult for Zerglings to kill it, it's worthwhile. And whenever those Zerglings come down to try to defend against that Zealot, you send the probe into the main. Now, Action's being pretty smart. He blocks. I think there's a Hydra bust coming. I see some building.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's a Hydra den on the minimap. Maybe you're right. No, actually, I think you're right, but that would mean he's making a layer. Okay, my bad. I thought that pool was a den for where it was on the minimap, but you're right, Artosis. Good correction. The probe is going to move out again. It's not really figuring anything out. And remember, Best is going to be very wary of a Hydra bust. So he's going to try to get this Corsair out as fast as possible and try to force some intel.
Yeah. By the way, you know that back wall, that back building we were talking about, he has more defense back there than he did on Invader on his second ramp. He does have a pylon at least spotting it, so nothing going to happen there, of course. Now, this Zealot does some damage to some probes, but a good surround by the Zerglings. You know, he has that speed upgrade. You know, the speed upgrade doesn't tell you that much. I feel like every Hydra Rush nowadays has that, but he does slip the probe up. Very nice scout there by Best, and sees the Spire.
Yeah, and that's a great catch. Now, does he go for a second Stargate?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think this is a very good map for it.
You might be right, actually.
Yeah, it's a big risk on some of these more flat, regular maps because they do hit that, you know, pre-storm bust timing. And that's super, super painful because your side storm is so late. But adds a second gate there, has the Citadel going up in his main base, has a macro pylon going up where he can put a ton of gateways as well. So it looks like we're going to have like a really standard game right now.
Yeah, this is going to be a real textbook PvZ. It's going to be pressure from Corsairs versus, I think, 5 and possibly 6 hatch Zerg. +1 attack is coming. Zealot charge is going to come. We're going to have Templars come in a little bit later. We don't see anything too dramatic from the Zerg, other than the Zerg is just in defense mode. We don't have any sunks up yet, but Zealot charge isn't done yet either.
And the Mutas out. Just a small group here to kind of help out. What's he have? Like 3-4 Mutas at the moment. A lot of Speedlings coming down as well. Trying to just get as many Muta hits before fully committing those Zerglings in. And no +1 here for Best. So the Zerglings actually doing a very good job against those Zealots.
So the last Zealot's killed off here. He does see the Hydra hatching. That's really something you're looking for. Is it more and more Mutas, or are you going to switch into Hydras here?
Yeah, and, you know, he does have some cannons up at the front. Looks like he's getting some cannons in all of the mineral lines as well. And it's not many Mutas being made. A few more drones popping out as he gets those Hydras as well. And it looks like Best will add a few cannons here just to play extra safe. But it feels like this is nothing aggressive from Action's happening, right? Like he has a few Mutas and Scourge, getting out a few Hydras, but really focusing on making sure he has enough hatcheries and enough drones.
Storm should be being upgraded. The Templars are going to be here with the cannons to cover this area. I don't know if the Mutas can actually pelt the probes over at the mineral area, but he's got to be careful. With Corsairs out and Storm available. Sorry, go ahead.
I think he doesn't even have the right amount, does he? Like, I think it's 4 Mutalisks. You need 5 to
that's a
one-shot
weird
probe.
number. I feel like you never make 4, but yeah, he might be right. He might have...
I think he just came back and got a 5th. I believe I saw that because the Mutas, like, one was sitting there and the rest flew up and stacked, so maybe he's got it now.
The Hydras are grouping up. Oh. All right.
Well, should force a cancel very easily. Only a few hits here until that thing is just going to die. And he actually gets the kill on it as well.
That's
very
so
nice.
insane. That's so catastrophic. Minus 300 minerals for a DT to come up and slice a building 3 or 4 times. Incredible. He kills the DT. And a Dark Archon's morphing. Now we're talking.
I love it. That is something that Best does a lot more than other players. And not just in this matchup. He uses them in Protoss versus Protoss as well for feedbacks on High Templars. But I love his Dark Archon usage. And I tell you, that's another thing with Tastosis that you'd have to read some minds about. Like the everyone watching is like, oh yeah, should he get a Dark Archon? The answer is yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it is. Although I worry it's maybe the wrong time to make it. I think that Best is still guessing. Notice that he's trying to hide the Dark Archon.
Yeah.
The thing is, Dark Archons, I mean, you can freeze Hydras, but really it's good for freezing Mutas. And then if they stop making Mutas, you use it to freeze Lurkers before they burrow.
Yeah, it has a lot of use all over the place, but
boy.
you're certainly right. It's not as good as like Psy Storms. Now that is a lot of Lurkers being made, but he already has his Robo finishing, so he is going to be able to get the Observer. But I think Action's going to go for a big containment here, though.
Yeah, well, that's exactly. When I saw those Lurker eggs morph, I'm like, oh, he's not going to the round of 8. He's just going to make an endless wall of Lurkers. And
do you think that this is like an impossible thing to break out of? Like, I mean, he's going heavy Dragoon now.
I think it's going to be really hard. We'll see. We'll see if he can get out. But this is Action who's so good tactically. It's going to be hard to keep the Observers alive. He's got enough Mutas to one-shot the Observer as well. And yeah, I mean, we're going to have to see this whole entrance basically demolished by Best in order to get his units out. He's spreading this out in such a way. This is so scary looking. It made me wonder earlier on, should we see Best actually move out on the map a little bit earlier here, just so that, you know, he at least has to fight to get into this position.
Dude, the Dark Archon Maelstrom there saves the Observer. Unfortunately, he walks it forward and it just dies immediately. So it was a sick move there, but he has a hard time getting the rest of his units out. I think you're right. He should have cleared at least that gateway so he could have had more support up there, because he just lost a lot of important tech units despite the nice Maelstrom.
You know, it's very cool. I've never seen Maelstrom used to snag the Hydras coming forward, but I like the idea a lot. But he just didn't have his Dragoons out there. When I mentioned he had to abolish his entrance earlier, I really meant it. The Mutas are going to come in here. Looks like he can kill off these probes, maybe in just enough time so that this can't be mined out. Oh, what?
Oh, some sort of terrible rally right there, or some sort of terrible click. Oh, I think he moved down behind here because he wants to deny this being mined out.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
The units just pathed really poorly.
I think you're right. We've got Hydras and Lurkers coming down here now, too. If he could just keep killing these probes, you're just never going to get out.
Might be time to just kill the stasis / whatever chamber.
Yeah. And so he makes another, and look at this, the burrowed Lurker, dude, not in a million years. Those probes are never going to have enough time to mine that mineral.
He really needs to kill some of these buildings.
Kill these buildings, man. This is insane. It's almost 150 supply.
Well, here's the thing.
It's like a
Casey, once he
computer right
loses
now.
this
Look at
army,
this.
yeah. Once he loses this for going single file, he's going to need that cannon for defense. So, yeah, gets up here, throws down the storm, loses 1 million zealots. Oh man,
oh dude,
heartbreaker. We're watching
there's
the
no
death
way.
of the Protoss race there, Tastosis.
They're going extinct. It's just like the campaign where they're getting dumpstered everywhere they go.
Yeah,
Zerg's just whooping them.
Well, you know, we need more Zeratools out there. It's
you
know, there's too much pride in the Protoss race to be playing like this. He won't kill his own buildings. You know, he won't acknowledge that there's a second ramp on certain maps. You know, there's some tough things going on for him. He comes out with the Dragoons. There's not that many units, but Dragoons can't fight alone. Zealot's coming up to try to help out, but Action really hitting his macro now. He's on 4 bases.
God,
the amount of units he's rallying down, you're not going to be able to break through this anymore.
I'll tell you what, Best did not deserve to move on, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's painful to say, but like you look at this and you go, man, you know, you got it. Look, you need to be ready to preempt the lurkers getting there. And, you know, we only saw 5 Hydras for a reason, because Action knows you need to get a lot of lurkers right away, and that's how you win on this game. He didn't even abuse the 3 bridges. He's just set up right out here and is going to abuse this bottleneck, which, by the way, also a great spot to lurker contain.
For sure. Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah, go ahead, Tastosis.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, any Hydra that gets damaged, he sends it back, morphs it into a lurker. It hatches with full HP. The main is almost mined out. Literally within a minute, it's going to be out of minerals. The probes are going to come down here almost like it's some kind of an execution.
Yeah, like what is this?
Yeah.
You're at 98 of 178. You don't need to clear that supply. Oh, now he's going to kill it?
There we go.
Now he's going to kill it. That his army is much smaller than it was before. That's
it's
good.
It's like he made peace with the world before he died. He destroyed the buildings he should have done.
Yeah.
As some kind of act of penance. And also, by the way, Zealots just running into lurkers. Like, yep, that's
yeah. I don't know what I'm looking at, man. He didn't play that well. It's too bad too, because like for instance, he had Sharp at the beginning of the day. Did a terrible wasteful attack, ended up losing that game. And, you know, he smashed Royal, who kind of made a lot of mistakes here tonight too. And then game 1, he was so far ahead of Action, almost let him back. Game 2, he completely ignored the main feature of the map and lost to it.
Yeah.
And then this game, it's like he doesn't kill any of his buildings. He comes out single file and fights with 1/3 of his army against the contain. The other units just running around, stuck behind his buildings.
And he just let it happen. He just let it happen.
Yeah. That was bad play, unfortunately. It breaks my heart because I wanted Best to advance. It looked after game 1 like he should. And then it was just like no good. It was no good at that point.
Man. Well, we're going to have an interview with Action in a second here. Devastating day here for Best, and frankly for Protoss. We only have 1 Protoss in the round of 8. That's going to be Mini. You know, Mini could still take the whole thing, or he could just die outright. Yeah. He's not consistent yet. So, well, I feel like this is a highlight person who's just always finding the highlight. That's like the 3rd highlight after the main thing happened.
Look at how stuck everything is.
Yeah. This is where, you know, if you didn't believe this game was made 25 years ago, watch this.
Look at this. And then he attack moves single file up.
There's
Look at all the
literally
units in the
running
main
into
base
the main.
running around. Yeah. Dude, that's how bad the pathing is here.
But the thing is, it doesn't have to be like that. You can just tear down the gateway.
This
is
such a common thing.
Hold position as a button on your keyboard. The Zealots are not helping you. If they just eat lurker shots that are so far in the back, they would never have hit the Dragoons. Anyways, guys, we're going to have an interview with Action, see how he's doing, and that's going to be it for the round of 8.
The last player joining the round of 8 has been decided. It is going to be Action. Congratulations. Thank you. After going through the final match, Action once again makes it to the round of 8 in ASL. This is your second consecutive ASL round of 8 advancement action, and your career is just becoming better and better. How do you feel right now? Honestly, I thought I'd move on as the first place of the group, but then again, in the match against Sharp, I made a lot of mistakes, so I really wanted to go to the final match right away. But even in the final match, I didn't scout my opponent enough, and that's caused me a lot of trouble. But I feel really fortunate that I won today. So you did play a lot of ZVT matches today, both against Sharp and Royal. And your nickname in ASL is Defiler Master, but despite that, we never got to see a hive tech coming from you today in any of your games. And I feel like you were just like destroying Terrans with your early movements, early harasses. So could you tell us about it? Well, I did I was gonna go for the macro play against Royal, but when I just sent my Zerglings to his base, he suffered a lot of damage, and that was something that I did not predict before. So I knew that he was gonna go for a economy heavy build, so I made Mutalisk right away just to put the nail in the coffin. And in the match against Best, the Zerglings and the Hydras did so much work, and those two armies alone just ended the game. And in the match against Best, you were trying to end the game during his 2-river timing. And it was like watching a guerrilla warfare. You were on your back foot, and yet you kept going. You kept trying to make a comeback in the game. I mean, I couldn't make a comeback in the end. But you know, recently I've been practicing a lot without streaming, and it wasn't really because I wanted to practice for ASL. It was just like warming up my own hands. I just grinded a lot of games, but Best's 2-river timing today was faster than I expected, and you know, that really caught me off guard. I think I can win against him next time with the same build. I mean, your Zergling Mutalisk micro was so good today. But action, like, what a phenomenal mind game you've shown today. In the third game against Best, you spawned a lot of drones to build a rich economy. So could you tell us about the mind games you had? I mean, I did make an Overlord mistake against Sharp, but there was actually a bug with the Sunken Colony. The Sunken Colony is supposed to kill the medics before the medics Marines arrive into my base, but the Sunken Colony did not inflict the initial damage to the medic, and the Marines and the medics just got into my base so easily. So that's really unfortunate that the bug happened. And Best probably knew that I was gonna go for the Hydra all-in rush when he saw the Hydras, because he's a stellar player and he knows me a lot. He knows me well. I mean, these days I did change my mouse sensitivity. I got a lot of stress with my peripherals. So, you know, I grind a lot of games trying different sensitivity, and I think that's helped me out a lot. So last round of 8, Best eliminated you, and now you finally take your revenge against him. So I'm sure you'll be able to carry this confidence into the round of 8. What do you think? Well, honestly, I should have been first place in the group to avoid the ZVZ as much as possible. But despite that, I'll still try my best in round of 8. And now, there's a high chance you will play against Sulky now. I mean, there's no easy player in the round of 8, to be honest. But if you have to pick one player, who would it be as your opponent? I mean, Everett and I are in the same clan in AfreecaTV, so you know, I think it's actually quite good for me to go up against Effort. Alright, would you like to give your thanks to the special people? I want to thank the viewers for staying up this late.
감사하고요. 그리고
I want to thank my colleagues.
와주고 또 이제 집에서도 응원해주는 이제 삼성여대.
And also I want to thank my University clan members, including
오늘
Com.
제가 마우스를 실수로 안 가져왔거든요.
And today I didn't bring my mouse,
다행히 집에서 응원하는
which is my fault.
기로 했던 애가 이제 유란이가 갖다 줘가지고.
But thankfully, a friend of mine
다행인 것 같아요. 그래서 고맙다고 전하고 싶어요.
gave me the mouse here at the venue, so I'm really thankful to him.
다전제에서도 멋진 모습
Well, we look forward to good performance in round of 8. Thank you.
자, 이렇게 이번 시즌의 마지막
And that's it for the interview with
김성대 선수와
Action, the last player to join the round of 8 this season.
Guys, there you have it. Sharp and Action get out. I'll tell you, dude, if anybody's doing some StarCraft fantasy bracket stuff, no one is winning this season.
That's for sure. And if you did, actually, there's something wrong with you or you're a time traveler. This has been such an unpredictable one. There've been so many upsets, but we've got a pretty sick round of 8. You know, we are going to have, 4 Zergs, 3 Terrans, and 1 Protoss. So a little bit Zerg heavy still. Not a big surprise there. The Zergs have been killing it. But Action, we're always talking about he's always round of 8. Here he is again. I think he's going to have a record, honestly.
I think he's been in the most round of 8s. It's wild. Yeah. So we have Effort, Rush, Sulky, Sharp, JYJ, Mini, Hero, and of course Action. Now, we're going to do the bracket drawing tonight.
Yes.
Literally in a minute or two from now. So don't turn the stream off. The show's not done. We will find out what kind of bracket we're going to have. And, I mean, there's a lot of interesting matchups. This is the most unusual round of 8 of all time in ASL. And I know that you will oftentimes hear us say, like, wow, there were upsets this season. Yeah, there's always upsets. This season has had an incredible amount of upsets. It's had more upsets than it's had normal standard results.
Yeah, no, we've had so many of the top players lose. But at the same time, like, Hero, Action, Rush, these 3, I want to say, have been in, like, so many round of 8s. It's insane. And then Sulky and Mini have been in a lot of round of 8s as well. So, like, even though we have a lot of upsets, like, there is a pattern emerging where you can't have a round of 8 that doesn't have Rush, Hero, and Action.
Well, we've had the God tier players before, and they've been to the round of 8s a couple times, but really, it seems like some of the guys that are here right now are more consistent than many of those guys. I think Bisu's a good example of this. When Bisu came back, we kept thinking, all right, is he going to win this season or the next season, or how many finals will he be in? And he's looked very good. He's clearly going to be probably in every ASL he tries out for, but he's not as consistent as the guys like Action, like Hero, and so many more. Okay, we're actually ready to go right into it.
네, 가장 예측하기 어려웠던 시즌이
So,
이번 시즌
you cannot, if you got out first, you can't go against somebody who also got out first.
Yeah. And you can't go in the first round against the person that you already played in your group.
Right. That's why we have the red balls and the yellow balls.
진행하기 전에 조추첨 방식에 대해서 간략하게 설명을 드릴 텐데요. 먼저 16강에서 각조 1위로 진출한 선수들을
So,
빨간공에 있는 선수들을
Young's just breaking down the rules.
The first place players will be drawn first and put into their respective places in the bracket, and then she'll draw second place until the bracket fills out in a way that is legal, where you're not playing someone that you already played. So sometimes the bracket ends up completing itself pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Depending on what order you draw people in.
So we are going to start this now. Did you forget what league you're in? Well, now you remember.
All right, here we go.
I love the mixing, too.
The mixing is always amazing.
Yeah. Here we
go.
Action. No, Rush. I didn't even get the race right. Rush. Bing.
Yeah, Zergs are purple.
All right.
Protoss blue.
In my mind, Tastosis, they're yellow, okay?
Sulky. That's a sick macro Terran versus Zerg right there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I'm so stupid. That was a first place player. I'm so dumb.
You actually tricked me. I doubted myself.
I just said that she was going to get all the first place guys first.
You said it, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's good, because I thought that was going to go to the second one, and I thank you for covering for me, Tastosis.
Yeah.
That means it's Sharp.
All right.
Like, okay, so Sharp versus Sulky. Oh, no, I forgot again. Damn it.
Wait, Sharp versus Rush? How does that work?
Yeah.
And effort.
Effort.
To be over on that right side.
자, 이렇게 A조에 유영진 선수, B조에
I feel like we didn't have this method in earlier ASLs. We actually had to do this many more times because whoever organized this didn't have a good system.
16강 각조에서 2위로 진출한 선수를 추첨해서 8강에 대진을
So
완성시키겠습니다.
now we'll go into those second place
먼저
players.
A조에서 유영진 선수와 경기를 하게 될 선수는요.
Gotta stir those balls up.
Yep. So now we're going to get our actual first match. That's when Mewtwo comes out of there. Whoa! Mini! Oh my god, my heart can't take this. He's going to be the very first match?
No, because he got second. He was in Russia's group, Tastosis. We're so bad at this.
Oh my god.
So he can't play against Russia.
Oh my god, we're so bad at this. We are actually morons. We've been doing this show since the beginning.
Yeah.
저그 조일장 선수입니다.
Hero? Okay.
A조는
Okay.
We're only 4 errors into a segment that's only minutes long. All right. Now watch. This is like one of those games they do to test your memory as a child. Can I follow the ball that's mini? I'm going to see if I know where it is. We got my eyes on it.
Sulky could be cool.
I think it's still in there. It's not mini. Not mini.
김민철 선수와 만나게 될 선수는
JYJ. I thought she was going to hold it upside down. She's killing it right now. We are bombing. Sulky JYJ. These are going to be 2 very long round of 8 days. I'm excited for this. These are epic games.
Yeah, JYJ Sulky especially. Those are just great macro players for this matchup. So we have, it's going to be action versus effort because he can't play sharp.
Mini
versus
the Minster.
Of course. I was trying to remember who the last player was. So Sharp versus Mini, that's kind of an interesting one.
Yeah. That should be a good one. That should be an action-packed one.
Should be. Should be.
Effort versus action. A
Now
little
that's gonna
ZBZ.
That's going to be so much fun, man.
자,
Oh my
이렇게
gosh.
조 추첨을 통해서 8강의 모든 대진이 완성됐습니다.
Okay, well, that is our round of 8. So TVZ, TVZ, TVP, ZVZ.
Do you have a match that you're really liking there?
Honestly, I know it's cliche. I really think all of them look great.
Yeah.
I think because I'm a Protoss player and it's just Mini left, I'm very interested in seeing if we can get him to the Final Four and try to keep that golden ratio. We have 2 Zergs cannibalizing each other, and then it's going to be 2 TVZs. So there's a lot of different ways this could go.
Yeah, yeah. Hard to say. Like, I think for sure we're not going to get a Terran versus Terran finals here. I'd be really surprised if Sharp can beat everybody on this side of the bracket. So that's good. I think we're going to... As far as that top side goes, though, like, Sulky JYJ, that looks like just a tantalizing match to me, Tasteless. That JYJ is so strong in this matchup, but when Sulky is on, he's the best macro Zerg that there is.
And Rush versus Hero, I mean, that could very well just be a finals, right? That's going to be a really, really cool one to cast and to watch develop. Yep, so here we are, best of 5 time.
Yeah, I'm going to call it. I think it's a Rush versus Effort finals.
Oh, you're crazy.
That's the least crazy thing I've ever said, Tasteless. Effort's going to win this over Rush in the finals 3-1. Watch. Or 3, I don't know, 4-2. Whatever it is, best of 7. I don't know. I'm like, he's going to 2-0 in the finals and Rush is going to walk out and retire.
He's like, and then when Rush goes, or Hero goes down to the loser's bracket and they have to play again, I'm like, damn, that's not how our tournament works. We will get that recorded for you very quickly. By the way, guys, over here in Korea, it's every Monday and Tuesday. We record them Tuesday and Wednesday and have them edited, chopped up, and sent out.
Yeah. So, some great matches, though. Really, it's a very good round of 8. And I'm also excited about the Zerg vs. Zerg. Action versus Effort. Dude, we could get to Hive in one of those games. It can happen.
Sure.
It can
even if we don't, we're definitely going to have some long-distance mining with extractors. I mean, these are all going to be great matches, and I'm glad we're going to get some more good ZVZ mirror matches. We might even have a ZVZ mirror match in the round of 4 again with Sulky versus Hero.
Yeah, there's a possibility it's a ZVZ finals also.
Yeah, for sure. We've had them before.
Yeah.
And they were really good, too. Sharp versus Mini. Again, can we get some Protoss wins in here? I think if Mini was going to beat anybody, he should be able to beat Sharp, but
yeah,
Sharp did murder this group. I do feel like we're in a kind of bizarro world where we're saying who's the best, but they're always losing, and we're like not backing away because we're not
still
wrong,
right.
but at the same time, like
we're
the
actually,
results.
we are correct. Yeah.
But Mini should be able to beat Sharp.
Yeah, I think so. Like Sharp did get out of the group today, but he was losing against Best, and then he got absolutely smashed one game, and then like stopped a bad all in, and then just walked across the map, and the Sunkens weren't enough. You know, it's like the Terran wins where you're like, wow, Terran sometimes does get a free win. Look at that.
That's going to be a fun one. That'll be the week after. We have 2 ASLs a day. We usually get them to you guys, I guess, around the weekends. Effort versus Action. This is going to be fun. It's going to be crazy. You know, I think Action might take that one again. You seem to think Effort could do it, Artosis. You could be right.
Yes. No, I'm fairly certain I'm right about this, Tasteless. Effort is a god. It looks like he has a hickey on his neck there.
I know. I was like, he's been making out, man. Hell yeah, Effort.
Borrowed his dad's car and everything.
That's going to be a fun one, too. And I'm trying to think of what else to say. I mean, guys, we appreciate you guys. The support on Patreon has been really heartwarming. And we're going to make sure we give you guys the best possible casting here in the round of 8.
That's right. Thank you guys very much for watching. This is the rest of the schedule. And, yeah, we'll be getting those out as quickly as is possible.
Yeah.
Dude, the finals has really been pushed back. Damn.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, even later than in the schedule that I had. So do keep this in mind if you're looking at this. I know sometimes it seems like there's a lot more downtime than other times between matches, but it's usually because there is actual downtime between when these things happen. So if you want to see these live, book a ticket now to Seoul. And I mean, you don't want to miss it. It's going to be historic.
All right. Great day today, Tasteless.
Yeah, good job, Artosis.
You know, kind of sad to see Best go out like that. He definitely did not play that well at the end. But what are you going to do? You got to deliver the games when it's time, and he wasn't able to do that once again, unfortunately.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. We love you, and we will see you in the round of 8. Bye-bye.